Oranges don't grow in New England, so.
Exactly, and so, we'll open this meeting of June 6, 2013. Let the record show that Selectman LaPlante is not here, but he will be here shortly. Talking about hawkers and peddlers. And when we challenged that person when they were not producing fruits of their own labor, he said, "No, I'm not." And I'm all set, and the next week he wasn't there. So that wasn't an issue. The plant person up here has family that produces a good portion of it, and some of it is wholesaled. So, I mean, you have to draw a line somewhere, somehow, to come to a resolve and say, it's fruits of your own labor, where do you go from there? And if in fact the law says they're exempt if it's produced by their fruits of their own labor, they don't need a hawkers and peddlers license, then I think the message should get to the proper channels that unless they sell products produced and generated by the fruits of their own labor, they do not need a hawkers and peddlers. If they do not, if they wholesale retail, then they need to come into this office and do a hawkers and peddlers immediately. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, that's really it.
That's what it says.
I mean, I think we can put that in a language that, you know, we've spoken now to, we've gone to the class, we've spoken to 3 lawyers and the Secretary of State. I think we've got a fairly good sound ground to understand what the hawkers and peddlers is about, and unless it's clearly the fruits of their own labor, they have to have a hawkers and peddlers license.
But now, what do you consider if I go out and I buy 4 skeins of wool and I come home and I create a sweater? Is that fruits of my own labor?
Yes, it is. But I don't think that you really need to get into that depth. If you are, then you've got another agenda. I'm sorry, but you've got another agenda going there.
Said that of those vendors, there are what he called licensed third-party vendors.
Those licensed third-party vendors have to have a hawkers and peddlers license. There's no question about it.
And the food carts have to have one.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. Never was.
But it's the other ones that he would have there that are, you know, spend the year making their product and then going to craft fair after craft fair to sell their product.
Right.
Or in this case, it's an organized thing, 4 times a year.
What if it was in one of his vacant buildings and he had something?
Wouldn't make a difference. Transient.
No, because we brought up the fact about if a calendar company came in November, a couple of years ago, that was the case. Wasn't there a Harley Davidson?
The Harley shop always, Christmas
time,
and Bike Weeks, a couple of years ago, they had a store over there.
They opened up a store for a few weeks, but it was under the guise of...
And it was definitely a for-profit venture.
Yeah.
That should have had an itinerant vendor.
Right. So that's not the fruits of their own labors. David said it was clearly an itinerant vendor.
But I perceive part of the problem here, first of all, once we have our definite thing that's going to require and not require, then we have to look at the fact that we're charging $50 a month for this, and depending on what it is you're doing, you may not be able to sell enough to make up for what it's costing you just to get the permit. I mean, if you're selling hot dogs out of a cart, how many hot dogs do you have to sell before you cover that $50?
Oh, less than 25.
I don't know.
And you have to buy hot dogs and fuel and other expenses.
All your costs that you have, including the
There's
$50,
much cost in a cart.
you gotta buy your food, all your materials.
But that's not our
You
problem.
may have to rent the place.
That's not our problem.
Well, it is our problem
No,
in a
it's
way,
their
Catherine.
choice.
It might be
It's
their
their
choice.
choice.
Do you want to invite business to Tilton, or do you want to stop business from Tilton? I mean, you really
That's a
have to be
two-edged, that's,
reasonable.
no, that's a two-edged question.
It
Do
is
I
a
want
two-edged
business to
question. This
come to
whole
Tilton?
hawkers and
Yes.
peddlers is
I want
two-edged.
taxable commercial business to come in and site plan and find a home in the town of Tilton. Am I concerned about people who travel from place to place, itinerant vendors and hawkers and peddlers? Not so much. They don't pay property tax. Our police have to police them. They pay no property tax. Our emergency vehicles would have to attend them if they got hurt. They pay no property tax. So they would get
You're
service.
certainly not talking about Tanger on this.
Are you telling me that having 50 to 80 vendors in one place,
They-
that not one of them, there is no chance of any of them having a heart attack or getting robbed or having any kind of incident? Well, that's
They
just-
also pay for police detail that weekend.
So I think my point is taken.
Yes, you did.
The problem is, our points are not taken.
But you've made your points. I understand your points. I don't have to agree with you. And you don't have to
There you have
agree
it.
with me.
Is there a motion to be made here?
No. How can there be a motion to be made?
There was something about allowing them to have the craft fair or whatever. Now, do we actually have to allow them to have a craft fair?
We have to give them a decision right now, because the
Yeah.
decision is contingent upon whether they continue.
I'll make a motion to allow Tanger Outlet to have their craft fair on the indicated dates,
So we're not-
subject to the hawkers and peddlers or RSA. And we just had a long discussion about what that means.
Right. So if they've created their stuff, they don't need it. If they
Yeah.
haven't created their stuff, they do.
Yep.
I would simply give them a
So-
copy of it.
And somebody seconding or not, or maybe?
Thank you.
Can we just maybe rewrite that a little bit? And
Make
just,
an
You
amendment.
can't rewrite the ordinance.
Make an amendment.
motion.
My motion.
all right, I'll amend the motion.
The motion hasn't been seconded.
Second,
All right.
I thought you
now-
already seconded it.
well, I
didn't
couldn't
hear it.
remember if I did or not, but now we know what
It
I
always
did.
Make a
goes
motion
to
to-
change a motion before it's seconded, because then
Right.
it doesn't have to be amended, it can just be changed.
Exactly.
Technically, you're right. But now it's seconded, so make your amendment.
What do you want to amend it to?
I want to make a motion that, that we send a letter to Tanger Outlet
Does that have to be part of my
Asking-
motion?
send a letter to Tanger Outlet requiring the vendors at the craft fair that do not produce from the fruits of their own labor, require them to come in and get a hawkers and peddlers license. Those that do make their own product from the fruits of their own labor do not need a hawkers and peddlers license.
Antiques and used
Could
stuff?
we merely quote the, oh, I don't have it in front of me, this is different. The exception in here, word for word from the RSA, which would
Joyce
be
took mine.
B3, any person selling the product of his own labor or the labor of his family or the product of his own farm or the one he tills would not need a hawkers and peddlers.
Yep. We can
And I would-
insert that into the motion, Catherine.
And then I would send him a copy of the hawkers
It's
and
B.
peddlers. B3,
B3,
Section 1, B3, or Section 2, I'm sorry,
Section 2,
B3.
got it.
Roman numeral 3.
Section 2B.
Okay, so that's your second. I guess
No, that's my motion, my
that's your
amendment.
amended motion.
Nobody seconded it
So,
yet.
well, I wanted to ask Joe if he would be,
I would love to withdraw my motion.
okay, and I'll withdraw my second, and I will second your amended motion.
Her motion now.
Now, her motion now.
Sure,
Catherine, you got that?
I get it. I thought that's what I said, but I'm okay.
You're pushed
All
over.
right, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Opposed? Abstain? We have one abstention.
Who abstained?
Me.
Al,
Al.
he wasn't part of the discussion portion of it.
Oh, wow, I have.
Okay, we have to, Joyce, want to come up?
Do I have your book?
Probably.
What?
No, that was your class, right? Oh, you do have my book.
I do have your book. They just got moved over
Why do you
differently.
think I was just throwing that at you?
I don't know. Somebody didn't set the table right.
That was me.
Really?
I didn't think it looked familiar.
I sent you this morning the recycling committee's recommended changes. I had sent it last night to the recycling committee to ask for their feedback before it was presented to the board.
Right.
And the only feedback I got was from Marge under the pay-as-you-throw. She suggested putting the words pay-as-you-throw, P-A-Y-T, for unrecyclable garbage.
Where is that suggested?
You go down
That would be
to,
printing on the bags.
no, we're not on the bags, we're on the thing that's going in the bins.
This,
No,
Yeah,
this two-sided
yes.
trifold.
Yes, and in your packets, you should have what the recycling committee is recommending, based on their meeting from yesterday. That's what I gave you today, yep.
Okay, is there anything different from this?
No, that's the document we're working under. That's the one that you gave me, Joe, to,
we're good with the exception of some dates, and I still don't see the 800 number for their,
what they gave me, they emailed me, they want to use Best Ways 524-5881 number.
okay.
And Marge wanted to put in to make it clear about pay-as-you-throw for household, for unrecyclable garbage.
Where was that going to be?
If you go to where it starts as pay-as-you-throw, and look on the,
Second page?
look on their, no, on theirs.
Oh, on this?
Yes, that's the document we're working off of.
Just this, okay. I'm
Yep.
covering up the rest.
Yep. So go down,
Pay-as-you-throw will begin on?
yes, on that, she wanted to put in pay-as-you-throw, PAYT, for unrecyclable garbage will begin on Tuesday, August 6th and Thursday, August 8th.
That would clear that up.
That's a good.
And the other thing is, I did hear back
Did
from,
she say garbage?
she said, in quotes, for unrecyclable garbage.
And I would change it to trash.
Oh, I
or-
love that word, garbage.
Refuse or
It's
something.
garbage.
Well, she did say garbage.
It's
Okay.
garbage.
And then they were able to use our logo, so we got that approved, and they said they wanted to use the 524-5881 number. My only suggestion is I went to where it says, to see how, the very last thing, see how Zero Sort makes the most of your recycling efforts, visit us at zerosort.com. I went to that website. Have you gone to that website? And there's really nothing there.
There's nothing there.
So I'd say go ahead and leave that on, but perhaps maybe go ahead and put in our website as well,
Yeah,
Please.
so we can add our website.
right.
You should have that in.
Our website is starting to get more and more stuff on there.
You sure you don't?
But not our telephone number.
Catherine doing this?
Where's my minutes?
Actually, garbage questions should go to Public Work. He's got a tape down there, and like, we can take turns. And listening to the tape, copying down phone numbers and names, you need this bin, okay.
No,
call
Catherine,
them
you had
back,
your
because,
concerns.
It might be
dates.
none.
Well, the first thing is, the very first sentence, recycling is free. I don't know why Zero of Sort would think that recycling is free, because it's not. If we were gonna take it on our own over there and get rid of it, it would have been free, but it's not free.
Where does it say?
No, and you're at first sentence.
Very first sentence, recycling is free to all residents eligible for municipal trash collection.
First of all, there's nothing free in this world.
Well,
get that
recycling is
straight.
not free,
It could,
that's for
if we,
sure.
you know, to make it simple, we could put available. Either that or strike it.
I
Strike
would say
that,
available.
Yeah,
you know.
That's a good choice.
yeah, I think it is too.
Got that choice?
So recycling is available.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, where did we come up with the day of July 8th?
Well,
That was, Best Way.
Best Way wants to begin it on July 8th.
How does that,
That doesn't mean that we're handcuffed to that date. If we get the barrels out here over the course of the next week, for the most part,
We need something to.
that's a separate conversation. But if we get those barrels out, we could start on July 8th. The other side of that is there's a potential lack of carts. They thought that they had to order 1,300. I said, well, we have technically 1,409 residences, dwelling units. I don't think everybody's going to need a cart. Some places, two residences at a place will have one large cart instead of two small carts. People will make their own decisions
Right.
on this. But not everybody gets the large cart. Some people, I might not even take a cart. I like going to Route 140, but I'm in the minority on that one. I don't know how many we'll need, but it's going to be more than 1,300. I spoke with Paul St. Hilaire. He assures me that he was thinking 1,300, and I said, well, we may have that conversation on tape or whatever, but 1,300 is not the amount of residences it was in the RFP at 1,409. Anything you made your bid on, oh, and look, we'll take care of it. But we don't, they have to get printed. Are they going to be ready by July 8th? That's a toughie.
We get some.
and then, the pay-as-you-throw dates, August 6th and August 8th. It's all contingent on if we get the carts out, because we were supposed to give them some amnesty time, and we haven't figured out how the amnesty time's gonna work, and now we're throwing out the day when pay it's gonna start.
Well, if we were to start picking up recyclables on the 8th, that gives a full month to get used to the recycling bins.
Yep,
But
we
every
can
other is
still-
really not a good, every other
only gives
week
them 2 weeks.
is only 2 weeks.
That's correct.
That's not really getting used to, I mean, the first week you put it out, the second week you say, oh, I've made a
How long did it
mistake.
take you? Did it take you a month to figure out what was recyclable?
I'm
then?
not, I'm not a senior, I'm not a disabled, I'm not people that don't have TV or computers to look it up on the website.
There will be challenges,
You know,
but what I'm
there are
suggesting, in
challenges.
addition to this, all right, for the first 4 pickups, all right, there would be an amnesty part to that. So that some people, on that first day, some people are just not going to be aware, whatever it is, they're not going to have the pay-as-you-throw bags, so, and hopefully, lots of people will.
Do we need to put a date on that, though, Joe? Do we need to put a date here on
need to
pay-as-you-throw
know.
will begin? Can we say we're looking forward for pay-as-you-throw to begin somewhere around?
That's what my Recycle Facebook page says, Tilton Recycles. That during the month of August, you can expect to have the pay-as-you-throw aspect to our waste pickup system go into effect, so that people would know that it's coming, but I didn't, no official word has been given on this. I
Why do
think
we have the
that
dates in there then?
Well,
6th of August is the first garbage pickup in Tilton that month. So if we were going to start in the first week in August, that is the pickup on the first week in August.
well, the other question is, if we don't is this the only notice that's gonna go out, that pay-as-you-throw is gonna
No.
begin?
Now,
So then if we're going to have another opportunity to notice it,
Yep.
then we don't need to notice it here. We could just say pay-as-you-throw for unrecyclable garbage will be beginning soon, very soon,
Well,
Right.
I have received telephone
sometime in the
calls
next couple months.
from people already saying, because they know that the bins are coming, because you did that, and they said, but what about, when are the bags coming?
people want to
When
know.
does that start?
People want to know, and in lieu of not having something definite that people can comprehend, because I know some of them won't, they'll think that they've got to go out and get these bags, whammo.
Right, that's what one of the calls today was, well, where do I go buy, when do I have to
And
start
we-
buying the bags?
And that was just the first newspaper thing.
Because people are going to have to buy the bags before August 6th.
And are we going to have the bags before August 6th? I would
Yeah.
hope so.
Yeah.
When are we having the bags?
Well, there's, the final artwork for the bags has to be approved, and the insert, the sleeve insert.
So we don't have a date.
These are generic things.
All right.
Our bags say Tilton Recycles, and then a warning to small children.
I would rather not have a date in there for Paige to
Approved.
throw.
The
I've
first,
got, yeah, but I've got a...
part of
I
August?
need to talk about that again. And you'll see why.
I would say sometime in August. I want to have it as soon as we can. I really do. But to throw out throw out this when we're putting out the
Let's
bins,
go with that, put in the 13th.
are we handcuffing ourselves in case
Yeah.
something else happens to
Yeah.
do that? That's what I
We're
don't
almost
want to
ready
see.
here.
But we don't even have a date for when the bags are going to be delivered.
Right.
That's going to take approximately 4 weeks.
For a company we've never done business for before.
Well,
With before.
Concord swears by them, Cambridge
before
swears by them,
September
Dover
1st.
swears by them. So they have a track record of sorts.
Yeah, we could put by, we'll
this
begin,
summer.
We might swear at them.
Later this summer. In the meantime, you're going to have mailings going out.
Marge is writing a letter for potential inclusion in a mailer that the Recycle Committee is proposing to send out around the 26th of June, or thereabouts. That explains that the single stream recycle, more explanation of the single stream, how to go about the single stream, and that the pay-as-you-throw is going to commence on such and such a date, list of the stores where you can buy them, that kind of information, and a thing, a two-sided thing that you can recycle, you can't recycle. Something on like a cardstock paper. The Recycle Committee has funds for a mailing, and
All right, well,
the insert.
that's in the mailing you're going to do. But for the purposes of this, they're going to get on Monday.
so why don't we say, let's be, less definitive and just say something like, pay-as-you-throw for unrecyclable garbage will begin soon. Mailer will be sent out previous. Notice will be sent out previous, something?
Look for
Yeah.
your mailer. Look for your mailer.
Watch the town website. Well, I do that everywhere I go.
I have pay-as-you-throw, P-A-Y-T, and I put in bags. Pay-as-you-throw bags for unrecyclable garbage will begin soon. What did you want to add?
Pay-as-you-throw bags will begin soon?
Bag program? Do people
Yes.
know what it, bag
Yes.
program?
Pay-as-you-throw bag program. I like that. What does everybody else think? Bag program?
Garbage bag program?
No, bag program.
Bag-
Waste collection program?
Bag program for unrecyclable garbage will begin
Soon?
Okay, that's what
In
I-
August?
We'll begin in a town near you.
Watch for notice, or
begin soon.
we'll be sending you notice. We'll
We will
Watch for the notices.
we'll notify you. We'll
Watch for notifications.
do,
watch for
yeah,
notification.
watch.
Watch for
Is
notification.
it true we are going to do a mailing? That's a fact, okay. We will be sending you notification.
Well, the recycling committee's going to do their own thing.
Yeah.
That they have funds for.
Next Thursday,
The
we'll have
selectmen are
we'll have
responsible for the date that
proof
this
of the
actually
letter,
starts,
proposed letter.
and that it goes
Now we're gonna
off
just
without a
send them
hitch. With no, oops, we don't have the bags, or oops, they put the town of Wilton on it instead of Tilton.
Okay, we'll be sending you notification
Watch for notification.
They watch for notifications.
Correct.
What do you think?
All right, sounds good to me. I'm easy to get along with.
Notification, I like that, that's a good word.
Sure like to
And take the date out.
firm that date up as soon as we can.
As soon as we have a delivery date on the bags, I'm all for it.
All right.
Where are they gonna watch for notifications?
I don't know.
Watch the website.
Yeah, look at the
There you go.
website.
What's the free paper? You do the free paper too, right?
Yeah, when that happens, there'll be a story
Watch
in
the town website.
Right. And if you get calls from someone who doesn't have a computer, say there will also be a mailing.
All right, watch the town, and there will
Does
also be
everybody
a
want-
mailing.
For any questions about the recycling big, contact the Tilton Public Works.
That was my next one.
Dennis, and Dennis wants it that way.
Okay.
He's the one that's gonna ultimately have to deal with these complaints. No matter if they call here first, that just adds a layer. He has a tape machine there,
Yep.
and he can, like, doesn't have to be right there by the phone, but he can take, we might not have any, but I gotta imagine that we're gonna have some. Might be lots if we don't have enough bins at the start or whatever. But, I think that's a good, I think everything for garbage should come out of one place. And that, if you got a problem with garbage, call Dennis.
But yet, our recycling questions are going to zero sort.
That's right. Fact is, Dennis is not the guy to answer questions about what's recyclable and what isn't. Anything to do with bins, pickup dates, pickup times, those kind of things, Dennis is the man.
Why don't,
But they have a
The pickup
customer
times
service
are
number.
Casella's, Best Ways.
They
What time
have-
is my garbage picking up is definitely a Best Way question.
And Dennis will pass it along. But as far as anything with garbage should go to Dennis.
Okay, but what zero,
No.
what they wrote, they said.
Why are
for-
we burdening our
No.
highway garage with that?
Who you
Yeah.
gonna burden?
It says.
Best Way.
Best Way. It says, for more information about zero sort recycling and trash collection, call us at 524-5881.
Yeah. If that would be best way.
Right, so just delete the bin part?
Yeah.
Does everybody agree with that?
It
I
should
do.
be above it. It will be above it, it's just not in there.
No, she took it out.
No, it's in your paper right now. It's in what you're looking at.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
not in here.
Those for any questions about recycling bins, contact Tilton Public Works Department
No.
it.
at 603-286-4721. And now, we're considering rewriting
Yeah,
it.
this is what the
So it
recycling
doesn't,
committee
it
wants.
doesn't say that.
Yeah, but there's no number in it. So you just
Oh, right,
read it.
yeah, the best way number.
The
Yeah,
best
I
way
just got
number
that.
goes in there.
Yes, the best way number's in here. And also, what their thing said was, when they gave me the number, it says, for more information about zero sort recycling and trash
Call us
collection.
at 524 whatever.
That's right.
That's directly
Got it.
from
Okay.
them. So if you want me to delete the thing about bins, I can just hit delete.
No.
No, the bin questions go to Dennis.
Why?
I need a wheel. I didn't get a bin. The best way is not, that they contracted with somebody that's delivering bins here to Tilton.
Well, that's their problem. We
Yeah,
contracted
well,
with
it's a
Casella.
problem if the residents are up in arms. So,
Why
It's only-
isn't
should only
Casella
be a
taking
week
care
or
of
two.
it, though? I don't
Right.
get it.
We're paying them, what, $80-some-odd for
Right.
this?
Right, and
I don't understand
No.
why,
no,
if we
this has gotta
pay
come from the
Casella
town.
for bins, and they're subcontracting it out, Casella's still responsible for that
Purchase the
subcontracting.
bins, and they've got, the company is going to deliver the bins.
Hey, guys,
There is no,
we're running out of time.
yeah, she was supposed to have
It's
this
4
at 4.
I don't
We
want,
have a non-public at 4.
I don't want the Public Works Department responsible for the recycling questions. They have more important things to do.
I do.
If they get calls
Public
from,
Works does.
if they get called, they don't have a voice here. This is a
Actually,
selectman's,
they've got me as a voice, dearie.
this is a selectman's decision.
I know it is.
If, they have more important things to do than spend 20 or 30 minutes, 40 minutes on the phone dealing with recycling bins. Casella can wade through them. If there are bin questions that need to be directed towards Dennis, they could send them to him via email. Well, however, whatever
Then you have to
medium
add
works for
something on there,
Dennis.
though.
This is a short-term problem. Once people get all their bins and they've got the right size bins.
Yeah, that's
it's-
true. It is a
It's not gonna be a
short-term
thing.
problem.
Until somebody runs over theirs in the driveway, or it blows
Okay,
over
one
in a
bin every
storm
2
and a
months.
truck runs over it, or...
I agree. Come on, let's get it done so she can send this.
The backup bins would be stored at the Public Works.
Well, they're just
That
in
was part of the deal.
Belmont. Heather can say, oh, you've got a question about the bins, call
Yeah,
Dennis.
exactly,
Right,
So tell her to call
right,
Dennis.
exactly,
Or she can call
right.
Dennis.
Right,
exactly.
Consensus is Casella only?
Yep.
yeah.
Yep,
And they can always say,
No.
call Dennis. If-
no,
I've got a broken wheel in my bin. I can call Casella, and I might get one next week once they get done calling and
no,
talking
Casella
and-
can
Or I
refer them to the highway garage. If it's
Why
a
don't you
question
just
about a
put it on there
bin.
then? If they're only gonna refer it to the highway garage.
What if you have on here, Public Works Department at, or Casella at?
Because they're just going to call somebody they know, they're going to call the Public Works.
And
And
he
you know
can't
what the
help?
thing of it is? It's not like our Public Works Director isn't physically out there doing public works.
Well, I know,
He's
but
not
he
sitting in his
wants to
office,
do
so they're
this.
not going to get a response. Best Way has a secretary sitting there.
They
you have
will
all
get
the-
a
Yada, yada.
response.
It's all set.
Okay,
All right, so we have, what did you put down for the numbers, Casella and,
No, I just have,
Casella
I just have
only.
Casella only, the local number for Best Way.
Okay.
And what I deleted the pay-as-you-throw start dates, and we changed that language to pay-as-you-throw, PAYT bag program for unrecyclable garbage will begin soon. Watch for notifications on the town website, and there will also be a mailing.
okay,
And then for more information about zero sort recycling and trash collection, call us at 603-524-5881. And we added our website at the very bottom. If they want to know more about recycling,
Right.
visit us at zero sort and thing, and
right.
that's it.
okay.
Too bad we couldn't put the Facebook page.
And where is this going now?
That's good.
There's
going
a
out with the
link in the
bins.
town website.
Oh, good.
This has been approved by the board in place of what
I
you
didn't prove that,
sent.
you?
The recycling committee.
Make a motion to accept what Joyce
Bring
has
here.
just read off.
Second?
To let,
A motion's been made and seconded to accept what we've just corrected on the Tilton Recycles zero sort.
Yep.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Can we have Tim put this on the website?
yes, now that you've approved it, we can do that.
That's all he's waiting for.
So just give me 1 second to, close this. That's pretty good, we only did it in one revision of a revision. All right, and let me go email
I'll
it.
go down
And I'll get
and
out of the
check,
way so you
okay?
can
All right, we're all set?
finish, yep.
Jane, we're going to have a quick...
Thank you very much.
I'll run downstairs.
Thank you, Joyce, that was a lot of work.
Well,
And do we know, Joyce, do
Yeah.
we have the figures for...
yeah, Catherine, do you have the figures?
I hope we have 11 and 12 as well.
Cindy gave it to Catherine, I haven't had a chance to look at it.
Thank you, Catherine.
At this time, would like to make a motion to enter into non-public per RSA 91A:3, C, matters if discussed in public would likely adversely, affect adversely the reputation of any other person.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Your motion to seal the minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Second?
I make a motion, Al made a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public as they pertain to,
What they pertain to.
what they pertain to permanently. And Catherine seconded it.
Isn't that rather vague?
No, it
I mean,
pertains
We
to,
made a motion,
that there was only one topic discussed
C.
in non-public.
right, there was only one topic.
Okay, good enough
All those in
Whatever.
for
favor?
me.
Yes.
Aye.
I think.
No,
Okay.
opposed, abstained, okay.
All right, Tim, now you're on.
Tim, you're
Okay,
up.
great. So I've got 4 things for you. First of all, in front of you, what I handed out was the draft May reports. So you have revenue, which is coming in right in line with where we should be, a little tiny bit light. We should be at 42% at the end of May. We're at 41.5%. And then you have the summary expenditures and detail expenditures. And within this, these contain the budget transfers authorized at your last meeting, as well as the expenditure transfers into the IT department for the lines that we discussed: hardware, software, communication services, and supplies. The only issue I ran into in all the transfers that occurred between budget and expense was there was one item that I had not correctly identified prior to the last meeting, and that was a $6,000 expenditure that had already occurred that we typically do at the end of the year. So what we need to do is to, as you'll see, software has no budget remaining, and in fact, it's overspent by $4,300. So what I worked out with the chief was to transfer $6,000 from his grant budget line.
But does it say 4,300? It mean $4.30, it says here.
Now, if you look,
Oh, I'm looking at general business. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong place.
if you're in the summary one, if you go to page 3, at the top of page 3,
Yeah.
under software on the far right-hand side, you'll see the balance.
Yep, I see it.
% used. So by transferring the $6,000 of grant budget into that line, that will give us what we need for the remainder of the year.
So that will cover all the other software expenses
Yes,
coming up.
that we know of, yes.
And what does that leave in his grant line?
That'll leave him $4,500.
I got it. And is that needed in that line, the 4,500?
Yes.
He has to click it, and he has a couple, doesn't he? Okay. The sobriety checkpoints, click it and ticket. What's the other one?
Brain ain't working good.
Me neither.
So, and then you'll also note that this is now, the revised budget. So you'll see on the first page under administrative telephone as an example, there is no budget associated with it. There is a negative monthly expense showing that the expense had come out that had been charged in there earlier in the month, and that is now moved over into IT communications. So where you see a line that has a 0 budget, that was the result of it, and you'll see minus expenditures in the month-to-date column.
Is that in the detail?
In the detail, you'll see the actual items transferred in the monthly detail. So in your detail report for, say, telephone, if you were to go to page, I think it's page 5. No, it
No,
is
next one.
page...
It's repairs, water, sewer. Electricity.
Page 3. If you look on page 3, you'll see the changes there. So that was the January, February, March, and April transfers out of expense. So if you'd like, I can give you, in preparation for the budget meeting, if you'd like a more easier version of this that you can, I can list out by type, hardware, software services, where it came from, if you'd like. Or if you think this suffices, leave it at that.
They're used to looking at these as much as we are, aren't they? Yes, they don't have the benefit of your personal explanation either. Would it be much extra time for you to prepare that?
No, I can do that.
I think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I do too.
What do you think?
Yep.
What do you think?
I do.
Joe?
Yep.
So if the board's in agreement to transfer the $6,000 of grant budget, that would be the only item I would need action on.
Make a motion to transfer the $6,000 out of PD grant expense. Do I need to read the whole number? Or 40-140 enough?
I think that's fine, yep.
And put that into the information technology budget software, 50-350.
Second?
Motion. Did you already second it, Al?
I did.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, then, how would you like this sent? Normally, I would send this to the Budget Committee the Friday prior to their meeting, so,
That would be tomorrow.
right, so I can see about attaching that other document to this, along with an explanation, and then sending that out.
Yeah, that's fine.
That'd be great.
The only other two things I had very briefly were, I'm sure most of you have seen and know that we're finishing up the audit. There's still some work to do, but it's going well. And then I didn't know also if you had anything, Joe, that you wanted me to discuss with the recycling.
I think no. We have to do some Waste Zero stuff, but the flyer for the printing is already done. There will be stuff that needs to, now that we have something approved, to go in the sleeves, that can be put on the town website.
Okay.
Joyce has that information.
Yep. The retail insert, that's also approved?
That's the one that's up after we get done here.
Okay, gotcha. All right, I didn't know if you needed me for anything. So,
When does, I have a question. This is May, right?
yes.
What page are you on?
Salary for IT, would there not been any taken out?
There wasn't because the first pay was paid this week, which is our first June, and it went retroactive, so it will actually show up in June. It
So
doesn't.
it's in here?
Yes, it doesn't redistribute it back across the months.
Okay.
So if any of you have any questions on the budget or how it looks or what's where,
I'd like
feel
to sit
free.
with you and go over it before the Budget Committee, so I can...
Sure.
We have a better, particularly the ones that are over 80%
Okay.
spent. I know we're going to have a lot of them, but some of them I know the reason, but there are others I don't.
Well, in total, even though our expenditures don't go perfectly month to month, we're a little bit ahead of plan in terms of if we were, 5/12ths out of the month for May, or out of the year for May, at 42%, we're running at about 39% right now, but some of that stuff is back-end loaded, but then some of our revenues are back-end loaded, so I'd say we're pretty much on track.
Good.
Yeah, I've glanced through here. I mean, dues, it's not too much, but except, the columns that we've messed with, general building expense, we know what we've done there. Am I reading this correctly, that we've received the money from the school district for the SRO?
We have, however, what you see there is the invoice, the recognition of the invoice, but we have received in June the check. Yes. Full payment.
And is the It's the same school resource officer, so these same expenses would apply as far as insurance and et cetera, et cetera.
Everything was billed, plus the
So
car.
we're good, okay. We don't need to re-examine
No, but I have...
for the 2013-14 school year?
No, we did provide them with an estimate of that based on retirement costs, projected salary, wage information for their budget.
Okay.
So they did have that.
Okay.
The only thing that you might want to be aware of that I reviewed with the chief was that with the increase in Group 2 retirement starting July 1st, we're going to be about breaking even with our detail rate. And so we're really going to want to have, we really should increase the rate. It's really what needs to happen. And he has much said that it's going to be something he's going to review with you, and that other municipalities are reviewing the same thing. So
Okay.
everyone's kind of in the same boat with that. And at one point, we were on the high end, and now we're kind of in the middle of the pack again, the way he described it to me. We're not the highest in the area, and so we do have some room to probably increase that rate.
Is that the only expense that's going to increase with us so far?
Well, for the detail
No, from the state.
from the state,
I know that's a loaded question,
that
but
is...
that we know of?
Well, we did budget
Anticipate?
for the increases in retirement that are going into
Yes,
effect
we
in
did.
July. So the only thing that would need to be changed is make sure that our revenue is capturing enough money so that we can have some money contributed to the revolving fund.
Okay.
Okay.
I got a question.
Yes.
Why would we take a payment of a purchase of a zero-turn mower under liability finance?
Because the mower is going to be paid for by the revolving, or from the capital reserve fund of
Oh,
the Parks
okay.
Commission. So we have to make a request of the trustees to write a check. So it's just holding until that clears, until
So-
they provide a check for the mower.
Then why do we have the 2011 Ford Expedition insurance covered? Why is that
Because-
coming under the finance?
Because we received an insurance check for the damage. That was an accident, and we received a check for the insurance of that damage.
Page of
And so
the-
this is the expense of that. So
Jumping
that
Comes
way,
out of-
it doesn't affect our operating budget.
One washes the other?
One washes the other, yeah. There's a difference,
They
I
all
think.
go into the liability finance?
Well, it's essentially an out of operating budget wash account.
The scrub word account.
So where we're waiting for the trustee funds, where we're waiting for either insurance monies, when we had the insurance claims for the town hall with the water damage, that's how we handled all those. Same thing for Grange.
Got it.
Past.
And you have a zero turn, that's exciting. I'm jealous. Very.
Anything else for me, or?
Yep. No, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Dennis. Tim.
Would you turn the sign
Thank you.
around downstairs? It says non-public, I think. All right, thanks.
When do you foresee the audit being finished? When do you foresee the audit being finished?
Probably within 2 weeks. 2 to
Nice.
3 weeks, but then there'll probably be about another 3 weeks or so before we receive anything.
Their draft, yeah.
But
Wow.
it might be 3 weeks and then another 3 weeks.
Nice. Thank you. It's kind of refreshing. I remember when,
The grandma?
wait, 2 years once. We didn't have an audit. Oh, what a change.
They were 2 years behind. They weren't ready for that year's audit either, according to Tim. He said, yeah, when I got in, it got in there. They were 2 years behind. Hadn't done anything about that year's yet.
That was the infamous 2007, 2008. And it is infamous.
Joyce?
Civic Road project. Oh, how you do it? How do you do that?
Sucking alive.
How did he do that? I gave the receipts today, but I expected it to go in next week for the flower stuff.
He's good.
Less than it was last year.
So for the important things, we have 12 tickets for July 24th, and so far, 5 people have responded. Tomorrow was the deadline before opening it up to the Highway Department. So I just had 5. Just to let you know. I forwarded you an email from Chuck Mitchell that the governor and council had approved.
Yay!
When can we move on to the next step?
Well, right now,
Actually,
Yeah.
here's our money, give us our deed.
Phil Miles from DOT will be sending the deed to Jim Sessler, that's the attorney that the Conservation Commission is using. The Conservation Commission will be using their funds and for paying for that, and also the any attorney's fees. So probably be within a month. And at some point, we have to think about whether or not the board wants to go ahead and merge the two.
Yeah, I think we should.
Chuck is following up on, because we do have 2 boundary surveys, but neither of them are recorded.
What's the recommendation from the Conservation Commission?
Right now, they're just in the investigatory stage of seeing if they can, what it would cost to get a survey. And
I was gonna say, have we had that surveyed yet?
yes, well, we didn't have it. Yes, they did. They had that piece surveyed by Paul Derbyshire, but Paul Derbyshire has retired, and he has not renewed his license.
Yeah, but that survey was just a few years ago. It was within, isn't it a 5-year window?
Right, but remember, I had made inquiries, and they said that I had contacted 3 firms, Krause, Bernier, and the gentleman that did all the work around J. Jill.
Okay, yeah.
I can't remember his name off
Yeah.
the top of my head. And they all said that they would have to go out and they'd have to check everything. So it wouldn't be just a quick, easy slap their stamp on a Mylar. They would have to resurvey it.
But if we have a relatively current survey for that property,
2008.
right,
Yeah, 2008.
and we have one for the other property.
We do, but that one's much older.
Why can't we merge them using those?
Oh, you probably can, but you wouldn't be able to cite the survey because they're not recorded.
Right.
Yeah, you could go ahead and just do book and page numbers too.
Right.
They're-
Why didn't
they're
we,
looking into
why
that.
didn't we record the surveys?
On the Martin one, that's when they discovered that.
Oh, that's right, because they discovered it wasn't ours. That would be a good reason, wouldn't it?
Right.
That's how we discovered it wasn't ours. Thank you,
Right.
Mr. Derbyshire.
And I
Thank you.
believe Chuck said that when he spoke to Tim Bernier, that he could, because he's got all of the plans, but since Paul didn't stamp it, I mean, he's retired now, he can't just go back in and stamp it.
Right.
So that, probably within a month.
Good question.
Oh, I asked Tim if he could check the check register to see if
That's a lot of
the
money.
check was cashed.
Yeah.
Has not.
That's a lot of money. For one of those apartments. It makes me wonder if you...
Maybe he'll do...
Oh, okay, now here's some good news. I spoke with Rip and Rick today, as you can see, everything...
Rip?
Rip and Rick.
Ripping right.
Rip and Rick from Cuderi Associates. As you can see, all the soil
Right.
and all the
Yeah, it's all
drums and the
gone.
metal and everything is all gone.
You get those pictures I took for you?
He wanted, yes, and yes,
Thank you.
They
It's
did a
very
nice
important
job
that we keep-
coordinating those piles off, too.
Yes, they did.
Very nice job.
and I did receive the final APCA document today in the mail. I gave that to Tim to put on our website. All told, over 175 tons of soil was removed. Remember, we had originally said 50? So 175, and it represented a mix of the soil that was contaminated with waste oil and the lead and arsenic soil.
Yep.
They are still working with Jennifer Martz at DES to give her a scope of work and also work on the eligibility application for the town to participate in the petroleum cleanup fund, state's petroleum cleanup fund. I mean, in all our conversations, it's, yeah, we're eligible, but we have to go through that process.
Right.
Also, we had contacted our insurance provider, and they will cover only cleanup costs. So this overage in the cleanup costs, because remember, we had originally estimated, what, 32,000? I didn't bring my change order with me. We did exceed that. But the insurance will cover that. So all the insurance is waiting for is a scope of work
Yep.
and all the invoices, what we've paid. So between the EPA grant, DES, and our insurance money,
Heather says that
we don't have to go,
eligibility.
we're all set for that.
Good.
And the good news is that
You think?
we're looking into applying for a grant through Capital Regional Development Corporation. They have some brownfields cleanup money that they need to spend. So Rick Silverberg and myself and Rick Vandenberg will see what we can put together to see if we can get additional money for redevelopment costs
Right.
of the site.
Nice.
So that's the good news.
I have not seen in my emails that he has responded to Kathy Mitchell's letter directly. I understand from what you've just said that they've dealt with it,
Yes.
but they haven't responded to her. He was going to respond to her at some point personally,
Yes, he was.
and I have not been CC'd on that, which doesn't mean he hasn't responded to her.
You know, he would have copied us if he had, but I'm sure that was just an
I
oversight.
think as a courtesy, would you remind him that he really should respond to her? She was good enough to be our public input, and she was correct. I think she was correct.
Okay. Just lost track here. Talked about the littering. I have worked in fits and starts all week, and I still have it up on my laptop to respond to Commissioner Clement's letter about remember last week we sent the letter to Senator Forrester?
Yep.
And now we need to
yes.
send one, so I can had just a quiet moment, I can finish it. So I was hoping to have that ready for your signature tonight, but it's still in draft form. And then at 6:30, they're doing the DOT thing?
Yep.
But I'm planning on staying for that, because I guess you're going to adjourn the meeting, Pat? You'll adjourn the selectmen's
I was going to
meeting?
ask the selectmen what we wanted to do. It's
I'll
not a,
gladly stay.
it doesn't, I didn't see any need to keeping, Catherine, are you here for the presentation by the state? That's,
You're gonna sit there.
Okay.
so,
I'll stay, because I'm going to work.
it's up to the selectmen what they want to do.
We have to give up our table.
I imagine there's 5 easels coming
have
in.
it. I'm not gonna
I'll
have
gladly
a
give it up and sit out there with my Coke.
I was going to say,
Had a
we
wonderful
have to
week
stay.
of hawkers and peddlers and recycling trifolds and recycling meetings and...
Any more news on ergonomically correcting your workspace?
No, but I sent in a request to
LGC?
LGC
Okay, and do we have any more information on,
on these. No, that I haven't done. And I just want to remeasure again. If we could just remeasure again, you and me.
all right,
No.
because we want to act on that soon.
Yeah, and then tomorrow, hopefully it's going to be a rainy day. Shouldn't be...
Excuse me?
Boy, we got a lot of rain coming up.
Excuse me?
Oh, yeah.
So what I've been trying to do
Hey,
is
it's
on
bike week, buddy.
Fridays,
I know.
you know, get through my...
And it's gonna get colder, too.
What happened the night before, and then
I
just...
ain't gonna melt, and I ain't scared.
out. So I've
That's
got
what I
a
Got
do.
a really good rain suit
Yeah.
this
So
year.
did I.
Do all my selectmen stuff.
Okay, and yes, and I do want to thank Al for photo documenting all the soil remover. That's very helpful. So, thank you. It's above and beyond code enforcement.
I want to make an announcement. Can I make an
Kind
announcement?
of above and beyond kind of guy, aren't you?
Can I make an announcement?
No.
Yes?
Can I do this? We're on public television. I want to say that I'm very ashamed of our youth in not taking care of their parents in their needs in times. Very ashamed. So those who are listening and don't take care of their parents, shame on you.
Okay,
Know who you are.
Facts.
Where's that coming from?
well, I think you need to explain where that came from.
I don't think he can.
I don't
And
think
just
I'm...
say that as selectmen, we've seen
Well, as a selectman, we've
seniors
seen
coming in,
seniors come
losing their
to help.
homes because
Correct.
their children are not helping out.
Neglecting their parents, which
Right.
they didn't neglect you when you were growing up, so...
We have a request from the Dollar General. Catherine has asked them to fill out a hawkers and peddlers license, and then perhaps maybe we just waive it, because it's a fundraiser for the Literacy Foundation. They're just serving hot dogs and chips and soda out front. They're using a grill. It's from 11 to 4.
What's the
Next
organization?
week. It's a fundraiser for the Literacy Foundation.
Who's putting it on?
That's a nonprofit, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's Dollar General's putting it on. The Dollar General store
So the Dollar General
is
is
fundraising for
fundraising,
for
and they're
the
going to
literacy.
donate the money
money
to
the
them.
literacy.
Okay.
Correct. Right. So I just, the license is here, so I'm going to make a motion that we waive the fees, as we've done to the other stores that have
Done
in front of their own
fundraising?
business.
That's on their own property.
Yeah.
Okay.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. I get chills up my spine every time I mention the word hawkers and peddlers. Catherine said, yeah, I do too.
No idea.
We need a matrix, so now we have to look and, here's the fact, and if this is yes, then this.
Yeah,
If this is no, then it's this.
and then maybe,
Oh, if it
No.
weren't so simple.
if it were that simple. We have a request for Sunday to the island. We need to inspect the island before a wedding. Is anybody available?
I can't do it for the 9th, I'm sorry, I'm busy that
Is it
weekend.
this Sunday? What time?
The 9th is Sunday.
Oh, you know what?
Bike Week.
It's Bike Week, right?
Just the beginning.
What time is this supposed to happen?
3 o'clock in the afternoon, but you know what?
That's
Cindy's
even
not
worse for me.
So,
Do what?
You can call them and do it in the morning. I mean,
Well, that's bad, but 3
well,
o'clock is worse.
I'll do it.
I'll inspect it, I don't mind doing it, I just want to know what time it was at.
Oh, because I was going to say, generally with weddings, they like you to
30
get
and
together
end
the
at
day
3:30.
before,
It's a half hour long.
because they're so busy that morning. So you have the day before, late afternoon, or early morning.
I've done it before.
This is,
There's a form.
the event is 2:30 to 3:30
Yeah.
at the island, 25 people.
No, that's all.
Do you want to do it?
I'll just inspect it, I'll inspect it.
Okay.
Al will do it.
Yeah.
It's a ceremony only.
They'll give you
A sheet.
make you a copy of it, so you'll have their number and everything.
Mr. Joyce.
All right. The other is self-explanatory. Catherine will have something to say on this. Catherine, they make the beer, okay?
yes.
The people that want the Okay, they make their own.
I wonder if that's why the name looks familiar.
I know personally they make their own. I don't drink it, but I know personally they make it. Have to go on my honor on that one.
I will trust that.
Actually, you should try it. People rave about it.
I've sampled some home brews that
Keg.
are pretty darn good. No seeds.
We'll try it while
Or
we're
should I say
listening
no
to the
hops?
DOT.
Okay. Approval of minutes. I think that means 5/30/2013.
What has she got?
5-3-0 dash.
Well, they did, they said 5:31, these two. Were there 2 minutes? Oh, wait a minute, look, at the first page says 5:31, second page says 5:30.
When did we meet? 5:30 or 5:31? The front says 5:31.
The second page says 5:30.
Where's my calendar?
It'd have been 5:30,
I think it was the 30th.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to bring the minutes of May 30th,
Thank you.
2013 to the table for discussion.
5:30.
I've lost them.
Second. And I think we'll be checking
All those in
all the
favor?
dates.
Right,
Aye.
Aye.
I found them.
We want to do that.
Got it?
Very trustworthy.
Did you read that?
Yes, I do. Interesting, isn't it?
I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of May 30th as corrected.
Second?
Any discussion, additions, corrections?
I don't know, I've been beaten to it.
I have one, though. Was it the name really, or Ernie's Petroleum?
No?
That was the, where was that choice? That's what they were,
What page?
3. On the bottom. Last page.
oh, right.
Last sentence.
3 on the bottom.
No, it was Ernie's,
Ernie's Garage?
what's that called?
I just thought it was
Here's
Ernie's.
used cars?
Ernie's Used Cars.
Ernie's Used Cars?
I think
Yeah.
so, wasn't it?
Yes.
Right,
Garage.
petroleum.
It was Ernie's Used Cars. It doesn't matter, but
Right,
it
I
wasn't
think
Ernie's
it's been a little
Petroleum.
bit-
I would
thought it
just
was
put Ernie's. Ernie's.
Yeah, I thought it was just Ernie's.
Ernie's. Ernie's is good.
Said I thought it was just Ernie's.
Ernie's is good. Ernie. Ernie, Bert.
And on the next, the back page, it says that the Ernie's site.
Yeah.
Let's be consistent. Just call it Ernie's.
We need to
All
come up
those in
with-
favor of the
Ernie's.
all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? We don't have an updated list for the deeding,
Nope.
and Cindy's off tomorrow.
Public input, never has any.
Is,
You want me to see if she's back yet?
Yeah.
is Kim all alone again?
No, Tim's downstairs.
Tim's downstairs, okay.
Would you like me to see if
spelled
she's
wrong.
back yet?
Where you going?
I see no problem with it.
Coming back? Is that what she?
well, that's
No, I don't
what-
think she is. I think she's gone.
Kim thought she was.
Oh, okay.
See that sentence that says, I see
I mean,
no
I can call
problem with
down
it?
there and ask her if she
Or
came
the
back.
chief sees no problem with it?
Where is the chief, by the way?
No, it's N-O, no.
Al?
It's spelled incorrectly.
This is the third week that he's missed the
Can we
selectmen's
do
meeting.
that?
Yeah, sure we can, I wrote it.
Yeah.
Well, last week he
Spell
was
check.
sick.
Yeah.
Before, I don't know where he
He's on
was.
vacation.
Yeah, it does.
His daughter
You can end up with
graduated.
almost anything.
And where is he this week?
Where, Al, where's the chief?
He's supposed to be here. He was following me.
Oh,
He was following you?
He said he
I
was.
took a wrong turn somewhere.
Took the scenic route.
something must have happened.
That's a probability.
Maybe there's goats in the road.
It could be. We chicken.
I'll just call Kim.
It's in a
Yeah,
horse
she came.
Selectmen's reports. Sandy?
I was gonna say, I don't really have anything. Most of us were at the meeting the other day. I thought it was very enlightening and educational. And Joyce has a copy of all the work, so I think it would be to everyone's best interest to get a copy, because there's a lot of really good material in there. Answers a lot of questions. That's it.
So Al and Joe, I can send you electronic files.
Yep. Yep, please. Please do. Yep.
That's it. I don't want to hog any more time.
Catherine?
I am. I don't remember if it was last week or the week before when it was brought up whether we needed a detail for the Water District's project for Tryon Lane. At the time, I had some questions, and it wasn't real clear in my mind what the project was, how long it was going to take. And when I came in the other day, could have been yesterday, could have been the day before, there was a conversation with the sewer commissioner's administrator that we required the sewer commission to have, which is the town of Tilton, to have a police detail for the work they did on Academy Street when they felt it was similar. They were concerned that we weren't going to allow the water, or require the water district to have one. Having said that, I called up the water district and talked to John over there to get more information on the project. It's going to be done just previous to the Public Works going in there and reclaiming the three roads, Central, Tryon, Rescue, and then the parking lots, excluding the section that we lease, of course. So the Water District will go in there. He's anticipating the project lasting 4 days. They haven't asked us if they could close Tryon Lane, but that's the intent, that it'll be closed for 4 days.
Right.
The 2-inch stub that they're going to connect to is somewhere within 10 feet, give or take, of the edge of the sidewalk, the north edge of the sidewalk.
Right.
We talked about what they would put in place to, if we allowed them to close the street, not have a detail, to warn traffic coming from the east, headed west, that might turn in there. You know, how are they going to tell them not to turn in there? Because I can foresee cars, oh, I'm going to turn up there, and then, I can't, and then trying to back out into the traffic of Route 311. We talked about how the emergency vehicles are going to ingress and egress the fire station. Dennis has worked that out for his paving quite nicely. The Water District hasn't completely worked it out, but there's been some conversation. Some of it is supposition. The Center Street, it'll be a day's worth of labor where they have that road closed to through traffic, because it'll take them approximately a day to trench across and connect to the fire station. They'll be connecting a 2-inch line to the church and the fire station during this project. I asked him to, or him being John, to provide us with some kind of, something in writing describing what I'm describing to you, the timeline, kind of the scope of work.
Right.
So I just wanted everybody to be aware of this project. In my mind, without knowing what they're going to do, because there is going to be some traffic issues.
Then we should have a detail.
In my mind, I'm not, yes, they definitely need one, and I'm not, no, they don't, until I hear more.
I think it's
From
going to
him.
be different from the
Right.
Academy Ave one, because they allowed through traffic at one point. They did one side and then they did the other.
Right.
This, they're closing it completely off. And I think if, to be fair and equitable, if the sewer commission was doing that, we wouldn't have required
Right.
a detail at that time if they had completely closed off the
The road.
the road. And I don't think any of us would have done that.
No.
Because it's a small Tryon Lane, you can't fit 2 vehicles coming and going.
Right.
No, but you're still going to have traffic issues at Route 311.
And nobody's directing
Well, you
the
put a
traffic.
sign up
And you're
there.
going to have traffic
saying
issues
closed.
at people turning into, from School Street, because remember, Center Street goes from School Street all the way through back to Route 3 and 11. So you're still going to have people trying to use it as a through street, and they do.
Well, if they hang a sign there that says road closed for paving, or road closed for whatever they're doing, because Tryon Lane itself is not wide enough to have men working in the road and having cars trying to go by.
Oh, there's no doubt we'd have to close
So
the
you put a
road.
sign at the edge of the road, and, with crossbars, whatever they're using, and put a sign at the School Street entrance saying Tyrone, or alleyways closed for,
They'll have to do more than just a sign to appease me, because they'll have to put crossbucks. They'll have to completely
There'll
close
have
it.
to be barricades.
And it's going to have to be,
barricade the road.
the other
so-
issue, it would have to be on the south side of the sidewalk,
Right.
Right.
so people couldn't,
Right.
could see it. I mean, I don't know how you're going to make it so
It would have to
people
be
coming in can
barricades,
see it.
correct.
Barricades with a sign.
Yeah, barricades.
In my mind, maybe the first day they're there, they may need a police detail, but then people would be used to it, and maybe they wouldn't for the rest of the project. But nevertheless, I'm just kind of giving you an FYI, and
But I
we need
also,
more information from them. These projects aren't going to take place till August or September.
Right.
But they will need a definitive response for us for budgeting purposes, because they figure a detail's probably, 4
But-
days? Got to be somewhere around
but I guess,
$2,000, $2,500
yeah.
bucks.
It bothers me a little bit. Obviously, if the sewer commission were doing work in town, or anybody for that matter, if the road was going to be closed, then they would be given the same advice that, we talked about with the water company. If the water company, and we have in the past, if they're working on the road and they're going to allow traffic to use the road too, then they hire a detail. We've never just let them go on a road and not have a detail there. In this case, they're closing off the road. If the sewer commission were working
Remember,
on
they haven't
something...
asked us permission to close the road.
Well,
I
I'm
didn't
just
know
saying...
their intent was to close the road until I called them up and said,
Yeah.
what do you plan on doing here?
Well, we
My point
knew-
in bringing this forward is, we didn't have enough information to make a
Yeah.
decision.
Well, I think it was more the fact that Dennis had come to us and told us he was going to pave and that he was just going to close the road down to pave it.
That's one day.
Oh, I understand. But what I'm getting at is, for the sewer commission to think that we would show favoritism over one and not the other, I mean, that really bothers me, because we're not like that. If they were working on a road and the road was going to be closed, we would say the same thing to them we would say to anyone else. We would not single them out. And I mean, I would scream and yell about it, but I know that none of you would single them out either. So it's unfortunate that somebody took that the wrong way, but, you know, it's just not the way we operate.
So what are we doing here? We're just gonna have them put up barricades and...
No, we're gonna-
Good.
We're going to wait until they give us more information.
Yes.
I'm telling you of a conversation I had with John,
Right.
and until we get formal information from them, what their intent is, exactly what their intent is, I don't think we can make a decision one way or the other. I know I can't.
So they haven't even made a formal request to...
They simply asked us if we're going to need a detail. And I didn't have enough information to make that decision, and I was concerned that the decision was made.
By who?
Us, this board.
Last week.
I don't recall saying that the water
weeks ago.
company could shut down the street and not have a
When Dennis
police
was here.
detail. I don't think that happened. It did.
We talked to Dennis, but,
It was in the minutes.
I know Dennis is going to be paving the street.
Yeah.
But, the whole water company thing just,
but I think he
missed that.
mentioned the water company had contacted him
Right.
about doing their work, which I appreciate for one.
Coordinating with it.
They're going to do their work before it gets repaved, so that we don't pave it and then tear it up and pave it again.
Well, I missed that. We're gonna tear up the road conversation.
Remember talking about the church and the parking lot?
Oh, absolutely, but I thought that was all a function of Dennis paving the road. Now, we're gonna pave the parking lot
No, I
spaces
see what
over on the
you're
side. I'm very aware, I missed the
Yep.
part where the water company was
got you.
gonna rip the freaking street up. I missed that part altogether. I remember the other part.
Just informed the board she received a call from Scott Davis. Tilton Norfolk Aqueduct Company wants to install a new 2-inch water line on Tryon Lane and would like to coordinate this with Dennis when he will be doing the paving. Dennis said he will not be doing this until August. They will be running a new line to the fire district, the church, and to Buell's building.
Not Panulas.
Mr. Davis is requesting that the town not require special detail for this project. They will have signs that the road will be closed off for 2 days while they are doing work. The board agreed that special detail will not be required for this project.
I must have been up on the stage there in the bathroom or something during that.
I was told 4 days for the project. This is what I mean. We don't have definitive information.
So we
We
asked
have
them,
suppositions.
right, we'll ask them for detailed
I did.
information
That's
on
I'm
what
letting
they're
you-
gonna do.
That's what I'm letting you know. So,
Okay.
you know, anyway.
But in conjunction with that, Panulo has put in a plan for the parking lot, but not
I heard that.
the third floor,
Oh, really?
He has no site plan for the building.
which would require extra sprinkler, which would require more water, which
So,
would
I heard
require a larger pipe.
Yeah.
I have been in contact with local government center as far as those items of the littering ordinance that Christine Fillmore brought up. I have not heard a response from her. I did get it directly to Chris Paquette, Officer Paquette, who did confirm he received it, and he will look at it and comment on me, which was the missing link before.
Okay.
I was under the...
Chris got the littering ordinance and will comment on it.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll put that on hold for another week.
And I did use it. It had nothing to do with the portions that she was questioning,
Yep.
but I did use it successfully across the street.
Okay.
Well,
Because
we got some 80% success. There's still a few issues over there. There's also an issue over there. I was going to mention it to you. I'm not sure where the town has privy with this, but if you go directly across the street between the Sant Bonnie building and what used to be the laundromat, it drops off to the river quite dramatically.
Property
The only thing, it's a common right-of-way.
to the doorway.
I don't know, I haven't read it. This is where I don't know where, but
It's a loading dock.
there's a little tiny rusty chain. There's a steel skirt beam with another steel piece, there's a little rusty chain, goes over here to the building to the left. There's no rusty chain on this side, there's nothing. So someone not aware of what's going on could potentially end in the river.
I would have to say that it's a private property, and if somebody happens to fall from his little rusty chain or no chain at all, it's nothing to do with the town.
That's what I'm wondering.
That loading dock got the right of way to it, not the river.
I'd have to look at the deed to see how much of that is right of way.
Pretty sure it just goes to that one doorway right there.
Yeah.
Right, if it's not a public right of way anyway. If
It's not.
If it's only for them to use, I'd have to read it to know.
Yeah.
But it was brought up to me when I was over there taking pictures by two different people. Of course, I will admit, I was holding on to the chain and taking
A rusty
pictures of
chain?
in the river, and I looked, I was using that, she said, no, I know, I was watching you.
What, Joyce?
In the past, we would find that what we felt were unsafe situations, we would go, because mortgages are recorded on properties, and we would write a letter to the mortgage company. Because your mortgages say you have to do this, 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 and this in order to keep your mortgage, and having, if there's any known hazards, you know. That's only in serious situations we've done that. And also, you
Yep.
can find out who the insurance company is.
I don't think anybody's,
By the property owner.
I don't think
Say, look,
anybody's fallen in there.
I don't think I've ever heard of anybody falling in.
And I won't be grabbing the chain again to take my pictures. But I just thought I'd mention it since it was brought up by two different people.
You would really have to not be from around here to drive through there and end up in the river.
I was thinking more of kids or people walking.
Again,
Yeah, you'd have to be not
you'd
familiar
have
with
to,
the area.
either that or be doing something completely wrong.
But like I said, they mentioned it to me, and I thought
Can't
I'd
save
just
people from themselves, I don't think.
let you know that it was
think I will.
voiced as a concern,
Okay.
but that's all I have.
Yeah. By the way, I just wanted to ask, we haven't had a report from you in quite a long time as far as the health officer stuff that, so it's
I
been
frankly
months.
I forgot. I will look through my archives and see what I have and
Okay.
bring you up to date. I can verbally bring you up to date now, if anybody wants to know what's going on, but I could have one for next week.
Okay, thank you.
I was at the middle school today, and what will probably be another 3 or 4 visits and their inspection, getting them into compliance. Mold is a huge issue.
What you talking about, Willis? There's mold at the middle school?
No, mold it's another health officer issue. I've gotten more calls this year. I mean, it's only
okay.
June.
I thought we were talking about the middle
Mold
school.
issues than I have in the past. I didn't really think of it as a particularly wet season, but mold is
There's
an
a lot of
issue.
wet basements in this town, you know, and it's just ripe for mold.
Well, normally I'll run across mold as an issue, you know, around the seal of the bathtub, which it really isn't a huge issue. It's, you
Cleaning
know,
issues.
it's, yeah. But the ones that I have investigated, one just recently, is an incredible amount of mold, incredible amount, where I think these people are going to have to vacate.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting area for health officers because the Department of Health and Human Services has not completely acknowledged it as a health issue, where EPA, Center for Disease Control, the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, and the Department of Public Health have. So it's kind of interesting to deal with it.
Yep.
And I had to take another water sample at the little drainage brook that goes through Quinns into White Rocks.
Yep, yep.
I had a call about septic odor. There is a pool out there. 2 people in the area have informed me that they believe a property on Church Street has filled in wetlands. So I'll have to contact DES, see what the test results are.
Didn't you go and look at that when that was installed? that had that place on Church Street.
No, that happened years ago.
Oh, the filling in of the wetlands.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I've been monitoring that situation with the E. coli event November of 11 through 12. The last water sample I took was very low. I think it was 52 or 53 parts per million. And there hasn't been water in the brook until recently. So we'll see what that says. There is a problem in that Lockmere area, especially the church and River Road area. There is something going on because I have 3 people now that are complaining of septic odor. And
Is it something with people who didn't hook into the sewer?
there's a number of homes along those stretches that have not
Yep.
hooked into the sewer and are not being required to hook into the sewer by the sewer commissioners.
Pardon me? Why not? How could that be? They're all within the footage.
That's,
People over on Silver Lake Road were required if they were within a certain amount of footage.
there is a number of people in the sewer project area that have not hooked in. I've approached the sewer commissioners at least I think twice, could be 3, but I think at least twice, asking them why not, because we had the incident on River Road with the septic leak.
Yes,
We had the incident on Church Street with a huge septic
yes.
Right.
raw sewage flowing into Silver Lake. And they, for various reasons, were not enforcing that part of our ordinance.
They enforced it for some people.
I don't know.
I do know. Now, how can you do it to some people and not do it to everybody?
Right.
I thought that's why we put the sewer line in, was to get all those people in the
And if you were
sewer.
within a certain distance, I hooked into it, certainly, but I know of a guy who, although the connections were made and he came into compliance with everything, he had a brandy-new septic system, a good one, a really deluxe one. It wasn't anywhere close to failing. So, even though he's hooked up, he has to pay the old times, he had to pay the assessments or whatever, has to pay for the grinder, has to pay for the hookup, but he doesn't have to flush anything through that line. There's nothing that says you have to do that. Isn't that something?
Our ordinance says you have to hook into the sewer.
He did.
And discontinue your septic.
I didn't see that until you actually switch. You haven't switched yet.
I
That's what
didn't see
Johanna
that you
told
have
me.
to, I didn't see where you have to actually use the system. You have to hook it up.
No, it's in there.
Yeah,
I have the ordinance.
I don't know.
But the
You have to make
ordinance,
the hookup.
the ordinance is sitting right over there.
That costs like over 15 grand. Easy.
To hook up?
Oh, yes.
No, some
When
of
you
them.
have a grinder pump, yes, it
Oh,
does.
if you have a grinder pump.
If you're on a certain end of that project,
well, no.
you have to pump it uphill. Not everybody has to have a grinder pump.
The sewer commission, I thought the grinder pumps were paid for within the project, scope of project.
Hell no. I'm buying, maybe they have like well over $10,000 that pump's gonna cost me.
I don't know.
You?
I know.
personally?
Yes, I paid for the sewer pump. They don't give them away, yes.
I don't know, these are sewer commissioner questions. I was just,
That was all part of the original, did that go away? I'm not sure because I don't write that check. Kyoko does. But that was all part of my, I owe this amount of money for the sewer. Part of it was the assessment that we borrowed money. Was that 14, or I think it was $11,000 included in that? I like to hope so, because that whole thing would have cost me over 45 grand over the course of its lifetime. That was an onerous thing, buddy.
To hook up sewer?
For the grinder pump, you had to pay for it forever. There was 2 times a year. Over the course of the 20 years, it would have cost me over 45 grand. Yes.
She proposed.
All I know, there is I'm having a problem
Yeah, but I'm not
in
about
that
to-
area, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be
The cheapest.
many days walking behind homes and searching it out, because there's enough complaints. And the problem is right in behind the 2 trailer parks and behind the lots on River Road is this huge piece of property that's landlocked and not developed. So somewhere surrounding that, there's a problem. I suspect it's on the eastern part, because that's where the majority of the complaints are, on that Church Street, River Road area. But,
Talking about the 10 acres?
yeah, well, 45,
John owns it.
yeah. So, that's some of what I've been up to, but
Al,
my
what have you
tip
been
jar will
up to?
be filled.
What have I been up to? What haven't I been up to?
I give up.
My, things going to court store on, up in the air. Let's see, what else have I been up to? My brain's not clicking today, so, working with the public, make sure everybody's happy. Doing inspections, Walmart's coming along pretty good. I've got a few complaints, but there's nothing I can do about the complaints because it's,
The inside of their store looks, it's a disaster.
It is,
Oh,
everything's mixed up.
yep.
yeah,
You walk in, it's like, where do I go?
yes.
I hope it doesn't look that when they're done.
And nobody knows where everything is,
New.
the workers.
Everybody said they moved the pharmacy, they didn't touch the pharmacy. They moved the wall next to the
Yeah.
pharmacy.
Yeah. Well, it was funny, it's like shoppers are helping each other out.
Yeah.
I heard this woman say, "What did they do with the cat food?" And I said, "Oh, in the back of the store." You know, By
they
where
moved
shoes used to be.
They moved in
little
the
girls'
weirdest
department.
spots.
I know. No, it's really a mess right now.
Let's see, Winnisquam West
Oh, west.
is just
Okay.
about to be paved. The house has been burnt down, as we know. So I don't know he's gonna start that project. He has no plans or anything for it yet, so.
Has anything happened with that house over there that burned, you know, that the church wanted to
Yeah,
use?
Joe, he had actually contacted me, and I give him Joe's number, so he contacted him too, but he's going through the process with the state, with asbestos and stuff.
Okay,
So it's pretty much in the state's hand until it gets done, so.
yep,
So I'm still working on that.
okay,
I'll keep up with him on it, so.
yeah.
What does the state have to do with that?
Asbestos inspection.
I think it looks good.
That's it.
Joe?
Okay, then. Firstly, let me remind you that the co-op meeting and the decision on where we bring our trash, or it's not a absolutely positively vote or die thing, if we're going to vote in a certain way that is time sensitive, the time is starting to run out. The money that was proposed that would be foregoing if we took our transfer station option. You have to take it into account, certainly, but I don't know how you guys feel, but think about it, because by next week after next at the very latest, for sure,
Right.
and I'm thinking next week we have to choose.
Okay,
If we choose not to continue with the co-op, then the pressure is off as far as, you know, making a choice. We're committed through the end of the year, and so, I mean, nothing has to be done in a week, so it'll have to be decided. There's a couple of recycling things that I have. We had a recycle committee meeting the other day, and it was felt, and everybody, I didn't see it, but everybody said, very first thing, does this mean that this bag is where you're supposed to put your recyclables? Well, it said Tilton Recycles on it.
right,
Now, the insert in the inside of the sleeve says that it's a pay-as-you-throw garbage bags, and that your refuse goes inside. As I recall, Joyce had made as part of the information that we had initially, a copy of that flyer. And here it is right here.
Right.
Garbage bags?
Yes,
The garbage bag,
The
yeah.
garbage bags, yeah.
that's the
that
little
this?
one. Yeah,
That's that.
This?
That's the sleeves of the garbage bags, that's right. The sleeves. It's going to be a front-back thing, this is misleading. It's going to be half that size, and it's going to be printed front and
older
back.
than that lady
That's what
who
goes in those
asked
sleeves. It's not 4 pages, it's not 2 big
Right.
pages. It's a piece that big with this printing on one side of it and that printing on the other side.
right.
You know what I mean, Kevin? It would be this. That. You'd split this in half, but it's
Right.
going to be this and that.
Yep.
All right.
So it's gonna look like this.
Yes, perfect. Works for me. And this is the corrected copy. Is that right, Joyce?
Is that,
And this is going to be delivered when they deliver the,
Goes in the sleeves. This, oh no, that's a different thing.
That goes in the bins on Monday.
okay, this goes in the bins.
Yeah.
All right,
And that'll be a tri-fold, and the part that we were talking about
This
goes
goes
on
in
the
the
outside.
bins.
yes.
This goes in the bags. What
Right.
goes on the bags?
That's the next thing. If everybody is good with this, I'm going to send this to Sarah Bernier,
Yep.
and that will be the sleeve that
Did-
goes in the bag.
Did you correct the spelling?
One that's
Okay.
did I get one of them?
Yes, we all did.
It's this.
Watch the movie.
It's going to be one sheet, and it'll go inside the sleeve of that. I've seen a number of different ones that people put in there. This is generic, but it's pretty much all a version of this material anyway.
Yes, I noticed that the words were corrected.
Okay, so that, with your permission, I will make sure that Sarah Bernier gets this and they can start printing. Then, the other thing is...
Are we all accepting this?
Yes,
Everybody?
yep.
Okay. Make a motion, we accept it.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
All right, I'll
All right.
send that out. The other thing, we've already done the flyer with the cans. The other thing is the garbage bags. I see a sample of the bag, says Tilton Recycles. People were confused if it
Yep.
was for
I
recyclables
agree.
or not.
Why don't we just put our town seal on the bag? It says Tilton, New Hampshire.
Well, I would love to see something in there. I sent you all copies of various things that
Garbage
Portland
only.
put on. Hey, you could do that. The town ceiling, garbage only.
That's the simplified way.
And it should be relatively simple, but even though the theme of our whole endeavor is Tilton Recycles, in hindsight, it was silly of me to propose that for printing on the bags.
Yeah, I don't think recyclers should go with the bag.
Yeah, and so,
Tilton garbage.
I would like to, now, you want to keep it simple, town seal, you want to put pay-as-you-throw trash bag, garbage bag?
Yeah.
seal.
What about Tilton?
Well, yeah,
Trash
Tilton
only.
logo, trash only?
Trash only.
Yes.
I thought that we had,
Simplify it.
I saw something on,
People interpret trash as trash.
Garbage.
SW is garbage.
Garbage, just put garbage on there. Pay-as-you-throw garbage bag.
Yep.
And they bought the bags, they're getting the sleeve. And if this is a problem, the first month will tell. I don't think it's going to be a big problem, that people won't realize that they're purchasing a bag to put their garbage in after a relatively short time.
Yeah.
Is there going to be maybe a few mistaken? Yeah, it could be, but I'm all about putting the garbage garbage only, or, Tilton garbage only, town seal.
You need Tilton on there, that way it's, it's for our town. And garbage bag, that's fine.
It's gotta be something simple, because black on dark purple with a black liner, is, if you started in with like Portland, they've got a front and a back, and it's got all the information right on the bag. Wouldn't cost us anything extra, but with a dark purple bag, once you get under, 29-point type or whatever, you can't hardly read it.
Right.
If it's tilted just a little bit. There's no big contrast between dark purple and black.
Why does it have to say anything more than Tilton?
I would like to identify it. It won't cost us anything extra.
Tilton garbage?
Tilton garbage bag.
Garbage.
Trash.
Don't try.
Nah, Tilton garbage bag.
I'll laugh every
And
time.
people will start calling them garbage
We're gonna call
bags.
it Tilton trash.
It would be fun recycling then. I'd laugh every time I did it.
Tilton trash.
Tilton trash.
And you want to see that at
Tilton trash.
1,300 stops over
Yep,
there?
Tilton trash.
Tilton
Tilton
trash.
trash. Please, Tilton trash.
Okey dokey.
I'm game
And
for
the town logo, right?
Town logo, Tilton trash.
Now, I'm thinking that there should be, if we don't have some color, yellow or something in that logo, it's just going to be a blob, isn't it, Joyce?
No, we fixed it.
Is it contrasting colors?
This is somebody else printing these? Who's printing these?
That's Casella, we're done with that. We've moved on, Joyce.
Yeah, I know.
Joyce.
Who's printing these?
This is where we're
That's
at.
Waste Zero.
Waste Zero's.
That's correct.
Okay.
But I'm going to ship her the artwork, or you could ship her the artwork.
I gave the artwork to Tim.
Yep.
He was able to clean this up.
Excellent.
That we sent to
still
Casella.
So now we're talking about the logo on garbage bags. The printed garbage bag. Can we get a contrasting color? Probably not. It's got to be black, right?
That is a Tim question. He's had all the conversations with the bag people. I was doing Casella.
I would love to have like a contrasting color. The lack of contrast, nobody has dark purple. Even Concord's one is lighter because of the contrast issue.
Oh, why don't we go with lavender, so it's easier to write?
Because we voted for, the original recommendation was for orange.
Yeah.
They would be jack-o'-lantern bags or whatever, they would have a catchy name, whatever. But they would, everything we looked at in the recycle committee was lime green, a yellowy type color, orange, that kind of stuff. Couldn't use pink because that's pink, red, medical waste, so that was out. But a light blue, that kind of stuff, because of the contrast,
Right.
you can definitely get more information on a contrasting bag.
We just need a contrasting color other than black, right?
They print in black.
That's all they print? Well, then that's what it's gonna be.
That's my question.
But we can't change the color of the bag.
Sure we can. They haven't
Make a
printed the
motion, we
bag.
go to lavender.
Yeah, we can make them lavenders, and that way you have
Lilac
contrast.
bags.
Yeah,
There you
why
go.
not? Lilac bags.
How about orange?
Well, I don't,
We're back to the jack-o'-lantern.
Yes, we are. I like that.
I really don't care. A bag's a bag's a bag.
Well-
Whatever is the easiest to print on.
A lighter colored bag is more contrast than a darker colored bag, that's all.
What colors is Samanton's bags?
I do not know. They have seals, I think, stickers.
Seals?
Yeah,
They can use any bag as long as it has a sticker.
yeah, as long as it has a sticker.
You used to have to
Pay
use
for the
blue.
sticker?
Oh, gosh, yes, as much as you do for a bag.
Well, we should have done that.
I think it's too late.
Make a motion.
As we
use
go
lavender
forward, that
bags. I'm not
contract
gonna go
runs
through the
out.
spectrum of the rainbow. They're lighter than purple, close to purple. I don't know who picked purple.
Second.
But lavender.
So we'll go with lavender bags, and that
Gotta
way they're
vote on it.
lighter.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed?
Aye.
I wanted orange.
Okay, so you got lavender bags, now the black will
what?
work.
Okay, now the black works. So, we now have the option of putting more understandable stuff on that bag if we're so inclined.
Yeah. Tilton
The
trash.
bag will have to have Tilton garbage bag on it.
Yep.
trash.
Tilton trash.
Tilton trash. I
Tilton
gotta write that
trash.
down.
No
If they all come back with
Not
Tilton
make a
garbage
mistake.
bag on
It's
it.
Tilton trash.
With the logo?
I'm emailing to Tim.
Yeah,
Tilton
but the
trash,
problem is,
That's very important, Tilton trash.
and that's all, Tilton trash.
Tilton trash.
Well, besides that, who cares what he puts on it? It's free anyways.
Well,
Tilton
now
trash,
beyond that,
Tilton trash.
there's gonna be the logo, right?
why do you want to be the butt of jokes all over the state? Why not put garbage? That's what people call it.
Hey,
Oh,
I'm all
no,
for making it fun.
because people have called it Tilton trash, so we're going to call it Tilton trash. Why not?
All right, and the logo, there's a warning, disclaimer,
program.
don't put it over your head. Don't put it over your head.
Well, in
That
some
seems
cases,
to me to
if
be
you'd like
a,
you're welcome.
common sense thing, but it's printed right on the bag. Don't allow your one-year-old baby to take a nap in it, whatever the warning is. And I'm thinking that we need the Waste Zero quality control number. Otherwise, if people try to overstuff the bags and they have a piece of glass or whatever in the bottom that they should have been recycling, and it goes through and rips, we're going to have people calling here at Town Hall or Department of Public Works or whatever. Quality of the bag should be a Waste Zero thing. We've contracted them for that, and they have a number specifically for that. And they can print it on the bag.
Do it up.
But that's not part of the original motion, you see. So, we have, did we actually make a Tilton trash?
Yep.
We did. And the logo is going to be on there, that's official as well?
Yep.
We voted on that.
We voted on light lavender. We voted on that. That's
All right. I would make a motion that
with black lettering, yep.
in addition to the Tilton Trash and the town logo, that we print the generic warning and the 1-800 number with Waste Zero, picking up the questions about the bags, bag quality.
Second.
They also have information on recycling on their website, what is and what isn't recyclable and that kind of thing. So I'm thinking we pay for these. It's a good thing to use them as much as is feasible, because what are we going to answer about the bag quality?
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Okay.
Abstain?
I will get this information started. I've sent a copy to you guys with the names of the contact people, telephone numbers, addresses, and whatever of the various bag outlets. I sent that information to Sarah Bernier at Waste Zero so that she can begin setting up the paperwork involved to put them into the system, and explain to them how the program works and what have you. I posted a list of those locations on my Tilton Facebook page, and I sent a copy to Tim so that he could put it on the town website when the bags, and there's a little, I don't have it right offhand and my battery is too low, a little disclaimer in there that says that, you know, you have to wait before the start of the program or whatever, but they'll be available sometime late July, early August. And keep watching here for more news and more information. And on for those of you who are not on that, I'm friends with your mom on that Tilton Recycling page. I put the information. I put things like, oh, you can fund projects with water bottles or old windows, sliding glass door windows, and in general, trying to make people understand. And there's 100 people or so right now, and Tilton Recycles, Facebook.com. Please like the page, because information about what you can and can't recycle will be on there. When the dates are finally decided for the implementation of the pay-as-you-throw structure, there'll be all sorts of information on how it works, composting ideas and what have you. So then, now that we've got that done, there was, I was going to ask about the house on Church Street. The consortium is the 26th. I had something else on my list. All right, unless you're going to adjourn, give me a second now. I think there was one more thing.
No, I still have my report.
Okay, go ahead, and I'll come back.
No, go ahead. No.
I have to get this, And that concludes Selectman Jessamyn's report for today. My computer battery is dying, and I didn't bring my plug-in. And I don't know my computer from a hole in the ground.
That concludes the whole situation right there.
Yeah, we're done. I'm done.
I think that means you're next, Pat.
Wow. Okay, just to update you folks that we had a couple more seniors requests than we do air conditioners, so I put out a plea in the paper for air conditioners. The chief has been working on it, and Heather has been working on it, and there is a company next week that will be accepting a check from for air conditioners, and I believe Lowe's is stepping up to the plate again for us this year.
Wow.
And helping us out.
Informationally, in that regard, I spoke with the mayor of Laconia last Saturday, and he was asking me where he could donate air conditioners. And I said, but you live in Laconia. They must have someplace in Laconia that you could donate them. He goes, no, not really. Otherwise, I would, but I told him the senior center. I don't know if they've donated, he's gone down and donated them yet or not.
Yeah.
But there's three or four, I guess, he's going to donate.
We use the window air conditioners in the seniors out and about in their own homes, and the floor models we have to have for the New Franklin apartments because of the ingress-egress issue that they have there. And they have to be a specific one so that it doesn't deplete the oxygen. And so that's going along nicely. The Explorers will be installing some on Saturday. This coming Saturday, we have a list of them to get out there and help installing them. We had an unfortunate circumstance last night with over at the senior center. I don't know what precipitated it, but they had a power breaker tripped, and nobody knew enough to reset the ground fault plugs in the kitchen, so Cap lost all their food in their refrigerator. They
didn't reset the snap on the...
They didn't reset the ground fault, so the...
When did that happen?
Last night.
I was there for an hour.
Yeah, no, they called me last night and said they can't get it going, and I said, check the ground fault on the island, and they did, and then they got the power back after they had done the breakers. And they got the power back, but they didn't go and do the other ones in the kitchen, and
Was that early on? Was that early on or at the end?
About 7:30.
See, I got there after that, and if they had said something, I'd have gone and checked
I
them.
think, I honestly don't think that they knew, so we're going to put some signage up so that anybody that doesn't know that doesn't happen, because, I mean, it's sad to see that Cap lost a whole refrigerator full of goodies to feed the seniors. Our fundraiser is coming along, and we also have a fundraiser coming up on the day after the seniors, right?
Yep,
Okay.
the 19th of June at the Tilton Diner.
Okay, last night we were at the Fire Commissioners meeting
nice.
where they appointed a interim
I'll be seeing Mark tomorrow.
Fire Commissioner Les Dokel. But prior to the meeting, I had a fun conversation with one of the Northfield Selectmen, and he said, we were talking about the parade, and he said, well, he's not going to go because you can't throw candy. And I said, oh, yeah, we can throw candy. But as usual, the fire chief put in his plea, please do not throw candy. And it's, how many years has it been ignored? Like 25?
Yeah, longer than that.
So I graciously informed him that it will be ignored this year.
I think it's wonderful that your chief is taking this so seriously, and I will do my best to hold myself back from throwing candy at small children, which I think is good advice for most everybody, but if some of it just fell out of my hands, nobody could, I'm an old man and shaky fingers,
And I will do my best to make up for Joe's insufficiencies.
by throwing it out with two hands.
I'll help you.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be
So, are we all
surprised to see
attending
me
the parade?
throwing.
Are we all going to be in the parade?
I
second.
have every intention. How are we going to do it this time? We've done cars, we've done convertibles,
Trucks.
we've done trucks, or a dump truck. How are we going to do
Dump
it?
truck, myself.
I think your trailer with a hay bale.
I was just going to say, Catherine, you have a tractor with a trailer you could tow behind it?
Yeah?
Would you be willing to tow us?
Oh, she can't throw candy if she's driving.
Of course you can, it's a tractor. She's doing 2 miles an hour, and she's got a bag of candy right there.
I don't want to promise the tractor because hay season's coming up.
I know.
All right.
But that would be.
a great idea,
That
though.
would be an interesting idea, if
It
that
would.
comes around. We got time to. It's the
Yeah.
22nd, so
Yeah, I mean, we're getting the mower on it next week, the baler's coming out.
we could
Last
ride our
rain
bikes
date is
out.
Monday, so
But then I couldn't throw candy, not too well.
we might have the hay in.
We have to think about that. Doesn't the town have a trailer? Can't we sit on
They
the,
do have a trailer.
can't we sit on the side of the trailer in a pickup truck or something?
I'm sure we could. We have a pickup truck. It tows the trailer around. It's big enough for all of us and Gabby and them. Little children, and they're going to be dressed up as Munchkins and the Wicked Witch of the West. The theme is Wizard of Oz.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it is. So it could be a lot of fun.
I want to be the wicked witch.
Well, you can certainly try, Catherine, but I don't know how you're going to pull that off. Yuck, 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 yuck.
Look at you, my pretty and your little dog, too.
Something tells me we're not in Kansas anymore.
Did you see the new one?
Are they still doing Citizen of the Year the Monday before?
They are. It's going to be held at the Pines Community Center. The food is going to be catered by a local restaurant, which we'll be deciding on that next week. The meeting is at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. And I know that there are a lot of people who would be interested in Old Home Day who've been otherwise occupied on Wednesdays the last few weeks, but time is short. So anybody who's got a hankering to be a part of Old Home Day, come on down Wednesday at 6 o'clock at the Pines. And is there any, in lieu of actually having people make input, or us requesting some input into the Citizen of the Year, because it's the Old Home Day Citizen of the Year, and as far as I know, it's their decision.
It's our decision. We submit to them, and then they make their decision.
But we already voted.
We already voted on it.
Did we?
Yeah,
Long
And that
time
would
ago.
be we didn't
There was
vote
a
in public,
couple.
right?
right,
It was the two individuals over
right.
somewhere not
That's
in
right.
this room. Okay, yeah, well, that's where we're headed.
Okay.
That's where we're headed anyway. I just wanted to let you know.
All
Yeah.
right.
Wow. That's okay.
It'd be okay, but I didn't want the individuals involved to know that they were going to be Citizen of the Year.
Chief, do you have anything for us?
That damn allergy medicine I've been taking.
You sure? Is the motorcycle out and running? It's striped and everything?
It is, it's in the garage, it will be in the parade, and it'll be out
Who's-
this weekend.
Who's driving it?
Gary.
It's supposed to be
He's gotta go through some cone training next week.
cone training.
How about railroad crossing training?
Yeah, we know what happens when you hit the railroad tracks. Oh, you drop it.
That happened to me once.
How are they doing with the cameras
Bicycle,
and the
and I never
cruisers? Are
made
those
that
all
mistake again.
installed?
Yeah, oh yeah, they're all running. One of them's having
There's
some,
7 of them, right?
yep. One of them's having some software bugs. Tim knows about it. He's gonna look at it tomorrow.
So they're actually up, running,
Up and running.
and there's no major incidents? And do the officers involved have any feedback on these, golden cameras?
No, they like them.
Do they?
They do. And the laptops are fast, and they're running their plates on them, so they're doing all that.
So then, and the one detective now has the proper software to run those
Yeah.
same checks? Excellent, that's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. Well, matter of fact, Chris is already pulling cases off the court from them, so.
Yay. What was the other thing? How do the officers feel about this software? Have you got any complaints from the officers?
No, I mean, they realize that it's new software, so we're working through some bugs with it, but it's nothing major. You know, they're being patient.
Okay, I just didn't want to see morale issues. Has the company been responsive to your questions and your request for support?
I think so far. So far, so good.
Yeah, and you're all prepared? Your schedule is good for next week?
We are, yeah,
You have extra people on?
we do. We're ready.
How about the new officer? How's she doing? She ready for this?
She's going to school Monday.
Look out for her. Oh, good.
She gets a reprieve on a,
Yeah. She was probably wanting to do it anyway. She'd have no problem. Is that all my police questions, Catherine?
Hey, I'm happy with your police questions.
I'm trying to get them all in there. You've begun having staff meetings, right?
we have.
Yeah. How many of those have you had?
We've had
2 so far. How often do you expect to have them?
every month,
So every 4 weeks?
every 4 weeks.
Yeah. And you're getting good information from this and these meetings?
Great, they're great.
Yay. Have these meetings helped you identify things that might be bothering the officers?
No, not really, it's more to make sure nothing slips through the cracks. Training.
Okay, and you're disseminating information and listening to their feedback, right?
We are
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Wait a
Second.
minute.
Yeah, the meeting's over.
What happened?
I need you, the meeting's over.
Then I will second that motion. It's non-debatable. Madam Chair?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we have a little break before the highway,
What's next?
The highway's coming at 6:30.
DOT.
And that is, they're coming to talk about the bridge or this or both?
Bridge,
The bridges.
the bridges for 93.
Okay, that it's not got anything to do with Clark, Colby, and whatever.
Not that I'm aware of. The announcement of it didn't mention them at all.
And
We are adjourned.
My name is Bob Giuliano, and I'm the project engineer with the New Hampshire Department of Transportation. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to present details of the project that will rehabilitate 2 red list bridges on I-93 at the towns of Northfield and Tilton, and also to solicit input from the public that will be used to help us as we move this project forward. This aerial view here shows exit 20, 23, I-93. The bridges are located right here. The focus of the project is to replace the concrete bridge decks on these 2 bridges, and also to install scour countermeasures to protect the footings of the bridge piers from being undermined during high flow events in the river. Biggest challenge in this project we expect will be traffic control. And this project is part of the state's 10-year transportation improvement plan and will be funded with a combination of federal and state funds. Now I'm going to introduce our technical presenters for tonight's meeting. Christine Perrin is a senior environmental manager with the DOT's Bureau of Environment, and she will be reading an environmental statement for this project. Joe Tusky is a bridge engineer with the DOT's Bureau of Bridge Design, and he'll be presenting the details of the bridge work. And David McNamara is a highway engineer with Bay Spofford and Thorndike Engineers, and they are consultants to the DOT on this project. And he's going to be presenting the details of two traffic control options that we are considering, and one of them will involve the use of a temporary bridge. So I guess at this point, I will turn it over to Christine.
Thank you. They let me go first so they won't forget about me at the end of the meeting. So I just have a brief statement that's easier to read than to memorize, so bear with me. As Bob said, I'm with the DOT Bureau of Environment. I'm a senior environmental manager. And our bureau has the responsibility of investigating the potential impacts that our projects have on the surrounding natural, cultural, and social environments. Identifying these key resources early in the project development process enables us to avoid or minimize impacts as design proceeds in a project. In accordance with Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act, the department is reviewing the project area to determine if there are historic resources within the area that could be impacted by the construction of this project. Historic properties can include buildings and structures 50 years or older, as well as archaeological sites. Studies are underway for this project to determine if historic resources exist in the project area. In complement to this review that we're doing, we're asking that if anyone has concerns about historic or archaeological resources in the project area or adjacent to the project area, that they bring them to our attention tonight or contact me after this meeting. Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act also offers those that possess a direct interest in historical resources, including town officials and historical societies, an opportunity to become more involved in an advisory role during project development as what are known as consulting parties. And if you're interested in learning more about that process, I do have a brochure with me tonight that I can give to after the meeting. Regarding natural resources, potential resources and concerns are still being investigated for this project. There are just three that I'll mention here briefly tonight. First, we are aware of a property adjacent to the project area that is protected by a conservation easement held by the town of Tilton. This property will not be impacted by this project. Second, measures will be taken during construction to avoid the spread of invasive species. And finally, it is anticipated that wetlands permits will be needed from the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. As the project proceeds, we will continue to coordinate with the appropriate agencies and local organizations to avoid or minimize impacts to the Mississippi River and other environmental resources in the area.
Why don't we say the comments till the end? So Joe will present the details of the bridge work next.
My name is Joe Tusky. I'm with the DOT Bridge Design Bureau, and the reason why we're here tonight is because of the deteriorating condition of the bridge decks on these two bridges. If any of you have had the opportunity to walk the Sauk River Trail and take a look underneath the bridge, both bridges, we've shown some representative photos of what the undersides of the deck look like. It's very apparent that the steel, the bottom mat of steel is very rusty. Catalytic electrical activities going on in the deck, and the concrete is deteriorating and stalling off from the reinforcing bars. The decks, when you drive over the bridges, you'll notice that it's pretty rough riding. And they were put on the red list recently, and the determination was made that they should be in the program, and the deck should be replaced. A little bit of history on the bridges. They were constructed in 1960. A little bit of a different arrangement. When they were originally constructed, there was a joint over each of the piers and at the ends of the bridge. the decks that were on the bridges at the time lasted about 19 years before they deteriorated. And in 1980, the bridges were widened. All the steel work on the bridges was replaced and upgraded with to eliminate the joints over the piers, and a new deck was put on at that time in 1980. The decks were membraned. We put a waterproofing membrane and paved over that. Those decks, by the time we get to the replacement here, will be about 36 years. So we roughly doubled the length of longevity of the decks that we put on at that time. The new decks that we propose to put on now, the materials that are currently used, the concretes, the avenues of the concretes, the reinforcing is now coated with an epoxy coating to prevent rust. We hope to attain at least a 50-year service life with the new decks when it's completed. And some of the work that would go along with the new decks, there's a possibility we would replace the bridge and approach railing with a more modern type. The condition of the railing as it is still very good from 10 years ago, so we have not made a final determination. We may be able to use all or part of it. Another thing we would be doing is we'd be putting new joints at the ends of the bridge decks for a smoother ride getting on and off the bridges. The membranes we use today are much better than they were 30 years ago. And then an asphalt will be put over the membranes. One of the issues with the bridge, and it's an opportune time to take care of it, when the bridges were originally designed and constructed, the footings at piers 1 and 2, this would be the Northfield side, this would be the Tilton side of each of the bridges. It's the northbound bridge, it's the southbound bridge. The two piers out in the water closest to Northfield are on a footing, and there are no pilings beneath the footing. The riverbed was so hard, we call it hard pan, it was very difficult and almost impossible to drive pilings at those locations. So the footings were constructed 8 feet below the stream bed. What happens during very high storms and high flows through here, the material over the footings tends to erode and then fill back in. And that potentially could be a problem with the bridge settling or at worst collapsing if you were to lose the entire support of the footing. We've never seen any indication of something that drastic. But in 2000, when both bridges were rehabilitated, we put something called Briscoe monitors on the center pier up the middle of the channel. It's a rod that goes down and sits on the stream bed. And if any material is eroded at the upstream nose or end of the pier, the rod drops and would record a reading at a data collector at the top. Unfortunately, what's happened, something we didn't realize, is that the wing of a plow doesn't do a good job on a monitor if you set it up there. So the monitors have been damaged, and we're not getting readings currently. But we do have inspectors that look at these bridges annually and make sure that the scour is not an issue. But for long-term repair, we're going to be installing scour countermeasures at those two piers. And what I did here is I brought something representative of a project that we're now doing in Littleton, up the street, between Littleton, New Hampshire, and Waterford, Vermont. A bridge with tall piers like this, very similar with footings below the stream bed. What you see here are concrete, they look like jacks, and essentially that's what they're called, Ajax. They come as units like this on a pallet. You can see the worker, he just interlocks, puts them together, and they make a module of those jacks. You see here, put a band, stainless steel band around it, pick it up with an excavator, and they lay it on the stream bed. And one of the things we're looking at is the possibility of laying it so that the top of the jacks is even with the stream bed in this case. That's still under design. But in any event, these jacks and this module provides stability for the materials around those footings so they don't erode and they don't during high storm flows, and they don't lead to damage or settlement of the bridge. So that's one of the things we're going to be taking advantage of when the decks are replaced on the bridge. Another thing we may do is replace the bridge bearings. They were replaced in 1980. They've been there 40 years. They're a combination of steel, Teflon, and they've rusted, and I think in one location I show one of the anchor bolts is actually neck down and broken off. I think the inspector just pulled the anchor bolt up to take a photograph there. But one of the things we will probably take a good look at is putting a more seismic sensitive type bearing on this bridge if there were any seismic activity. Also, when cars going over, they would be a compressible bearing, so that the shock to the substructures is lessened, and it's a more efficient detail and a more efficient design. The bridges see about 13,000 vehicles a day, both of them. About 9% of that is trucks. It's projected that by 2032, the bridges will see about 20,000 vehicles. So it's time to do something here. So in summary, the concrete bridge decks will be replaced. The expansion joints will be replaced at the deck ends. The deck membrane and asphalt pavement will be put over the new deck. We're considering replacing the bridge bearings. The bridge and approach rail may be fully or partially replaced. And if you notice, there's some minor cracks, falls on the piers. That's fairly straightforward and easy to adjust. We'll install the scour countermeasures, and we plan on repairing those monitors and putting an off-site data collector so we don't nail them with the winds Dave McNamara will present the traffic control for the project.
Thanks, Joe. My name's Dave McNamara with Baseball from Thorndike. And I'm just going to go over, at this point, we're looking at two different options for maintenance of traffic during the work on the bridges. What we're calling option A would be a placement of the temporary bridge in the median between the two, the northbound and southbound arrow. Actually, just a step back, just to acclimate you to the plan. Northbound is heading toward left, southbound coming to the right here. Route 3 overpass to be the southbound on-ramp and northbound off-ramp. So the intent of the temporary bridge would be to first take the northbound barrel, put it onto the two-lane temporary bridge, come over the river, you come back in, you merge back into the northbound, you would merge to the east of the existing piers underneath Route 3, and that gets you back on in time to get off the exit 20 off ramp, and then continue on northbound. So
you have the mile marker cutoffs where it starts, right?
I don't have this detour right here is about 3,500 feet. Some of the different ones are going to get a little bit longer just because of the way that the curves work. So while traffic's here, the northbound bridge will be completely free, and all the bridge work will be able to be done in one phase. The next step would then be to take the traffic on the southbound, put it on the median. Joe, you want to see if we can flip this? Make it work.
You didn't mention it again, Dave?
So, as you can see, the southbound crossover to the temporary bridges is a little bit more extensive. These piers are a large part of it. We're not able to get the alignment to come in on the west side and then get on the bridge and get back over. So what we do is we actually swing the traffic out east of the piers, come back onto the temporary bridge, and then come back and merge back in down here. So this is more a little over a mile in length.
Or do it.
I don't mind taking them as you go.
That means you're going to have northbound as one lane?
No, in all these cases, 2 lanes would be maintained in both directions. There would be barrier would have to be put up between northbound and southbound barrels. They'll get tight through here, but we can't fit both barrels 2 lanes in each direction. The one disadvantage about this is we can't get the southbound on-ramp onto the 2-lane bridge. Temporary bridge, so we leave the southbound on-ramp basically on the southbound bridge, and it would just mean that the reconstruction, I guess, of the southbound bridge would be done in 2 phases. So the on-ramp traffic would stay, and build the east side, move the on-ramp traffic to the east, and build the west side traffic. But then it's a nice clean bridge with the main line and the on-ramp traffic down to the side. The next option, or option B, is going to be a full crossover, and this would split the traffic. So the northbound, we start with the northbound. We leave basically the right-hand lane, would stay on the northbound barrel, and now would have access to exit 20. The left-hand lane, the passing lane, would cross over onto the southbound bridge, come across the bridge, and then merge back in. We would not be able to get that left-hand passing lane, not have access to exit 20. So it would be signed back here well in advance that, any traffic looking to use the exit 20 off-ramp has to move to the right. The southbound bridge, because of the existing on-ramp, has a width to accommodate 3 lanes of traffic in this scenario. So what this would do, unlike the 2-lane temporary, is now the northbound bridge is going to be built in 2 phases. While working on and doing the rehab work on the northbound bridge, we would actually widen it slightly. Right now, the overhang beyond the girders is a little shorter than what it could be. So we could pick up almost 2 feet of width on the bridge, which would actually be enough to get to our next phase, which would put the 3rd lane of traffic onto the southbound barrel. So in summary, basically you split your northbound traffic, build your northbound bridge in 2 phases, and then you move your northbound traffic back, and you, for the next step, you split your southbound barrels. Like this. There. So again, pretty similar to the southbound temporary bridge. We've got a longer split for the southbound, for the left lane of the southbound would merge onto the northbound bridge, newly reconstructed northbound bridge. The right-hand lane of the southbound would stay in place, merge with the on-ramp, cross over the southbound bridge, and then they merge back together to the south. So in this scenario, the southbound bridge again would be built in 2 phases. So the original, the southbound bridge is basically going to be constructed in 2 phases, regardless of option. The northbound bridge may have the extra phase if we go with the full crossover.
When's that going to be decided?
Well, I think part of it is, we're looking for input from the town, if they've got any thoughts or preferences on these. Otherwise, we're looking at a few different issues, some of the advantages and disadvantages of each, some you've seen, I guess, but if you go back to the temporary bridge, that's a little bit cleaner. Get the traffic off, you can go northbound at one stage. The disadvantages, there's definitely an added cost with the temporary bridge. The installation of the temporary bridge would entail additional wetland impacts within the river. You've got piers built into the river. You would be building piers adjacent to the rail trail, the railroad, and then there's a sewer interceptor in the same area. So the placement of the piers, I think placing the piers, we could avoid everything, but there is going to be some construction going on in the vicinity of all those elements. Vertically, the bridge is playing out of any vertical clearance issues with the temporary bridge.
We did use a temporary bridge in 1920.
Yes, that is true. And the one thing with that, this bridge wasn't in place, so the crossover was a little cleaner. We had piers in the middle, underneath the Route 3 bridge. Going to the full crossover, it is cheaper. It keeps us pretty much out of everything down in the river. The on-ramp becomes a little bit of a concern. This merge gets tight onto this bridge here, so we're looking at different options. Not a lot of play with this. This curve is so tight here. Try to pull it back a little bit further. We would look at a merge condition at the on-ramp. Certainly isn't ideal, but it's workable and it's been used.
Do either one of the choices have a shorter time for construction?
I think we're looking at about 2 construction seasons either way. The activities would be a little bit different. With the temporary bridge, I think we anticipated going out to bid probably over the course of the summer, so that the work to get the temporary bridge, most of that work would happen late fall into the winter to get the temporary bridge set up, so at the beginning of the season, you could put traffic back onto the temporary bridge. You do your work on, say, the northbound one construction season, put traffic back to their respective barrels over the winter, and then beginning the next spring, you do your next phase.
So that temporary bridge would never be open in the winter time?
That's the intent. If we had a wider temporary bridge with a little bit more room, there may be a possibility of being able to leave over the winter, but I don't think that is likely scenario. It's possible, I guess. And essentially the same thing, we would never leave the crossovers over the winter. So you build your median area, you build your crossovers, take the traffic, put it on one, do that bridge work, the opposite bridge work over the course of the summer season, flip everybody back to their respective barrels over the winter, and then go the other way and do your crossover in the opposite direction for the next spring. We wouldn't leave the detour roads over the winter.
The bridge plan keeps all the traffic out of the other lane, right? So the southbound is always in its southbound, it's not merging with northbound.
Yes, you never have a scenario where you've got a row of barrier with basically traffic opposing each other just a couple feet on either side of that barrier.
That's always a frightening situation.
If you didn't do the temporary bridge, is there any chance work would start earlier than next season?
Temporary bridge. That would impact the advertising. I don't believe that.
So the
Funding is-
still gonna start next season.
Bob's going to talk a little bit about funding, but that's going to be Bob's thing.
But I don't see I guess the answer directly to the question, I don't see it shows an alternative reflected start of construction. Well, this one, here's the southbound one, a more extreme example of temporary bridge.
Is there any kind of advantage to putting in a bridge, a temporary bridge?
In terms of,
In terms of anything, it's obviously more expensive, it's also got a higher environmental impact. Is there something that might mitigate those two factors?
it's gonna be a little cleaner, it's gonna keep you from putting two-directional traffic on a single barrel of one of, or both of the bridges over the course of time. So you do keep your traffic separate at all times. Any concerns with this merge go away on the southbound scenario, because you're just always gonna merge, this southbound on-ramp is gonna be, half a mile long, so you can have an easy merge here, so you never have to worry about anything backing up on the ramp or any unsafe condition, at the nose of the merge.
How much more expensive is it to put in this bridge?
The temporary bridge is looking $1.5 million, $2 million.
Here, there, we seem to be talking real money.
Yeah, eventually.
You may be safer.
I think safety and traffic management is the advantage.
That would be my first concern, was not so much the environmental, because you already got two bridges there and you're gonna be tearing them all up anyway. I don't know why you couldn't do a little work to that on-ramp and move it over. You're gonna have to build an access across. Well, that southbound crossing over into the northbound, all right, you're gonna have to do a lot of work there. Why not stretch that on-ramp?
This here.
Straighten it out a little more and bring it into your southbound. Eliminate your southbound on a bridge you're working on. Eliminates the safety issue of equipment on the bridge while cars are going on.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I agree, and we are looking at playing around with the geometry here a little bit to see whether it's this scenario or even the crossover scenario, to see if we can improve that, because the safety and just the efficiency to be able to work on this bridge in one phase. So these piers are hampering us in a lot of different ways, but and this curve's pretty tight as it is.
Slow them down.
We will. We're going to slow down to a 55 anyway, so.
I'd slow them down on the on-ramp, if we slow them down so they can brake better. I guess, follow along with my question. No, it's not it'll come to me in a minute, I just, my mind went out for a second. I'm sorry. Traffic count. What kind of traffic count have we got on the southbound ramp as opposed to northbound off-ramp?
The southbound on versus the northbound off?
Yeah.
Don't have that number off the top of my head.
Well, I think you find it a hell of a lot heavier getting off 20 and going in three directions.
Yes.
As opposed to that one going in one direction.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I don't know what the numbers are.
I would eliminate that southbound on-ramp completely and do everything in one phase with a temporary bridge. That's my opinion.
Right. No, that's.
Safety.
How long would it take to completely redo the southbound bridge?
Work on the southbound bridge.
Do it all in one short construction season?
We'd be still looking at the better part of the construction. I don't think there's any scenario where we could get them both done in one season.
Well, I was just thinking, because you can get southbound at exit 19, but I don't know how your trucks would maneuver.
Get it back on down here. Right, so you're talking about if this was completely closed.
Just depending on how long, and
Yep.
then, but you said you had 19% truck traffic? Or 9%?
9%.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
that's in which lane?
Oh, yeah, I don't know
That's,
how
well,
they
that's on
get
the
back
main,
on.
that's not necessarily on the ramps, that's on the main.
On the main line, yeah.
So, I mean, if you were gonna make them, they would just, because the bridge would be closed, so they'd have to get off. I mean, they wouldn't get on, they'd have to stay on Route 311 and get to exit 19.
Right, still be getting off.
That would be harsh for me.
Everything would be coming down through here. You would be diverting quite a bit of traffic.
That's what I thought, it was just gonna be like a month, but it sounds.
No, it's,
All summer long, an extra 1,800 trucks down Main Street.
Only if we could charge them a toll. Well, the people would be bringing you to our downtown.
Just look at the
Lovely
condition,
Tilton.
look at the condition of the road and bridges downtown now. Put that kind of traffic.
Can you see them all going over Cannon Bridge over to the exit 19?
Well, no,
That would be in the mirror.
I can't see how they would get back over, because there's, how would they turn?
All down 140 to
They turn on Park now.
A left-hand turn, something?
Yeah, they can left-hand turn on the park, the state widened that intersection. It's not pretty.
They can, but
that's why
it's
you're gonna get
dicey.
traffic off here all the time.
Northfield would not be very pleased.
No.
No, we would.
Hey, no question is a stupid question. It's just throwing it out.
Good
idea.
Explain what this curve is. This tiny minimal curve as it is. So it's tough about
Yeah,
Start
it's
there.
going to make it tighter the farther you move.
trigger other issues, right?
Jet through your own, Joe, no too bad. I was just wondering about stacking cars. Right.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit extra queuing, and it also,
least for the project shoot.
yeah, it picks you up a little bit extra. We can make this a workable merge, we don't need a few hundred feet. So we may be able to get that curve to work, it's just,
I think the bridge, southbound bridge, you can phase it. With the phase construction, you still do it in the season.
yeah, with just a single phase, or with the dual
The
phase.
advantage of doing bridges without phase construction like this is you get so much vibration and impact from trucks. You're trying to cure concrete and have the concrete set up and it's, it's like Jell-O.
Yeah, it doesn't cure well, it's
So-
settled out.
So it's always a benefit, especially on these bridges too. The cross slopes are very steep. It's almost 8% like this.
Let me ask you, what are you guys leaning towards for the option? Like, without our input, if you could pick, Joe? I mean, is there one that,
Originally, I thought the crossover because it was the cost of the temporary bridge, and we did a little more research and found that in 1980 they built a temporary bridge, and when the bridges were redecked, they did not phase. I mean, they built them, which would be preferable. But the temporary bridge is very expensive, and because of the environmental impacts, I don't have one way. From a bridge perspective, I'd rather do the bridge in one shot. But because of all these other issues, I guess I'm leaning towards this crossover.
can we just do like this down in the Manchester Hooks area?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And no issues there, right? I drove through it several times.
Yeah, I mean, I don't,
I think they ended up altering the schedule somewhat by allowing the contractor to work over the winter. I think they maintained some of those.
they did, those were left in place over the winter. I think internally at some of the meetings we've had, that was made clear that wouldn't happen here. I don't think that was.
It's been through there quite a few times in the winter.
Yeah, the intent here would be.
It was not pretty out there.
Everybody.
I agree with you in the back that it's not a nice.
Never feels good, yeah.
Yeah.
They're going on.
But they've got some of these crossovers on 101. The last couple summers, they've got these crossovers on 101. So it's, the crossovers, this type of work is pretty common throughout the state these days. So.
I can shift gears a little bit. I'm with the Winnipesaukee River Trail Association.
So if you look at the other diagram over here where it says 117, 157, right along there, underneath on the north side of the river is where the trail goes.
Right.
And right next to the trail is the railroad track. When you get in to do the scour protection on the abutments that are underneath on the south shore of the river, how are you going to get to those?
That's it, we walked the site this evening, we took a look at it.
You're going to come down.
There's a railroad corridor, the New Hampshire Railroad right away would be there.
Yeah.
Your trail abuts
there.
it.
Yeah.
So, and there's the,
So you want to come down the north side of the river on the railroad as trail.
the problem with the temporary bridges, you can't come down, the contractor can't come down either way in the temporary bridge.
Right.
If you don't have the temporary bridge, now you need to know phase is that possibly, the contractor could work his way down from either direction from the new one.
Well, the south
And
side.
probably the south, because of the void. On that particular job, we have an agreement with TransCanada. We were able to get onto their property, and the contractor built a bulkhead, a large barge out. They put us an excavator, and you can see in the picture, they're lifting those mats.
The
where they put an
added
excavator.
two pieces of information you may or may not know. One, there are now river releases from the dam on Silver Lake. There's going to be one on June, whatever Old Home Day is, June 22nd. It's going to be 10,000 CFM. That's going to happen regularly now in the summer. So you put a barge in there or anything else in the river on about June 22nd, each of the 2 summers, it's going to wash away.
The contractor there is dealing with more dam releases every day. So
Okay, the other piece, which may save you some money when you do your historic review, is go look at our file, the last piece of trail we did, and right just south, right in there, no, on the other side of the river, right there, we had to do 2 excavation test pits and drilling to make sure that we don't have any. Because between the trail right away and the river, there was some other property that was still owned by the railroad. And we had to show that there was no impact from what we were doing with the trail digging, because we were putting in a little retaining wall. So there's no place else to dig, because we already built the trail. But you'll save some on that part, not having to do it over, because it's in the file from last time. The reason I was asking about how you might get down there and do the scour protection is that piece of trail, in its current use pattern, has its heaviest time use late afternoon into early evening from Memorial Day to Labor Day. So the number of bicycles going underneath and walkers going underneath is sizable. We've had volunteers out there with little clickers, and we get 150, 200 people a day. Because people do use it now as an alternative transportation rate because of the cost of gas. They stay off of Route 3, which is too busy to get on with a bicycle or to walk home. The other thing that's going to change is we're building a bridge over here in the center of, right up the road across the police department from Tilton to Northfield. And the town just acquired a piece of land with a bigger green space there. Northfield's already committed to the other side. So we've got to get some design and engineering approvals for that bridge. But probably by the time you're building this, we're going to be building that bridge.
How does your usage, say between Labor Day and Memorial Day, how much usage?
That's what I'm saying.
On the other side, the fall into the winter and then early.
A lot less.
Yeah, it goes down.
So it's busy during fall foliage a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's short. Once you're into the later fall, it's gray out, there's nowhere near as many people down by the river.
Snowshoers and cross-country skiers.
And then back in the winter.
The
Snowmobilers on
The rail bed is used by snowmobiles.
The railhead, not your
Yeah. So if we have snow, there'll be considerable, that's the corridor trail right underneath it.
Right.
Main corridors. But they are on the rail bed, not on the...
No,
There's a fence there to separate them.
Yeah, all right.
The other thing you've got is the Woodstock River Basin Authority has a big truck. It's like a 4-ton truck. It's got a big tank on it. big auger. They go in and clean out each of those manholes 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah.
And they gotta be able to get through whenever they wanna get through.
Right.
So you're gonna need to talk with them about the schedule, and they're very fussy.
Yeah.
Fussy. They don't like to be
Fussy, I think you said puffy.
No, fussy. They don't like to be delayed even for a day. When they say they want to do it, they want to do it. During construction last time, I know that our construction engineers and their construction engineers would talk to each other ahead of time.
Yeah, that's...
The railroad is still active.
Yep.
So we need to talk with the rail bureau. And just to put in a pitch, if you're under there and you're digging, you could possibly clean out the drainage ditches along the railroad right-of-way. That helps protect your footings on the north side of the river from washing out because of the problems they've got with their drainage.
Between their trail, basically between the two trails.
Between the railroad and the uphill slope.
Oh, the other way, I got
Behind,
to the north.
the car dealer there.
Right, to the north of the rail
Yeah,
tracks.
there's a drainage ditch there that always is clogged. Right now it's clogged with silt again.
Yeah.
And it's on their side of the railroad bed, so they won't let us do anything with it. But
We noticed it looked like you had erosion because some of the things stone.
But if you can do anything to fix that while you're in there.
From a scheduling standpoint, placing the scour time is winter time is winter time.
Absolutely. Or late fall when the water level is lower.
This contractor opted to do that over the winter. He built the bulkhead, I think, in January and started working on sticking cold up and winter. So
Certainly can't do it in the spring because the water is way too high.
As I said, it may be a requirement to do it during low flow zones.
Yeah, you get 20,000 CFM in there in the spring. We've got whitewater rafters that are going to be coming on June 22nd, and whitewater kayakers. They're setting up an actual slalom course right down here in Tilton, which is kind of neat that you do that on the river.
That reminds me, there are, because in Northfield, at the end of Shaker Road on Route 140, there's a place to put in canoes and kayaks. Now, the people that are experienced do, I mean, I can see them every weekend when I go. I don't know how far down they head towards Franklin. I mean, you have to be pretty good, I think, to do that. But that's something, I mean, from time to time, there are people that are going underneath there on the river.
Yeah.
Didn't Danny ask about that? Bigger footage, yeah. All the way to Franklin.
Is this gonna have any effect if people are using the river? Because it is used quite a bit. I have no idea, take down.
You have to close off the river.
This project has a boat ramp right about where that gentleman is standing and we're putting the blankets in, the mats in. Because of the winter construction, no one really uses the boat ramp, so we worked around that. But one of the provisos with our agreement with TransCanada was to maintain access to that boat ramp at all times, even over the winter. So if someone wanted to get down there and use it, our contractor would have to provide.
Well, a lot of this freezes over.
It's not that deep. Not at low tide.
And it would be anything permanent, but, long-term, I guess, temporary. We put piers in, it would be a similar configuration to piers that are already in there. We try to probably line them up with the existing piers.
So you would be closing the river to use?
That would be close to, temporary construction.
You'd have to be concerned with work. The contractor is not going to be allowed to drop anything in the river. He's going to have to shield underneath the bridge.
It's going to have to bed it all and shield it. So you're pretty safe going under it. Should be.
Safer than you are now, that concrete's falling out.
I mean,
Shields will be down.
So while you're working in the river on the pier, will you probably close it down through?
I don't think so.
In this case, they can't restrict.
I could think of, there could be some operations where you wouldn't want anybody going under. If we were to go with the temporary bridge option when we were constructing that or launching that over the river, you would not want to see somebody.
If you were craning some equipment across, you would want somebody underneath.
Right.
Just in case.
But that's short term.
Exactly. It's a short-term operation.
That's very accurate.
For recent projects, we have required the contractor, if the river's going to be closed next week for any period of time, to install notices at the nearest access points, both of these are called access points. So we could consider that here if we feel that it's going to affect the
There's no method of notifying.
Like part of our plan to redevelop the site, when we put in our bridge, there's going to be a takeout place for canoes and kayaks. I don't know, when are we gonna have that built, Greg?
At the same time the bridge is built.
So what are the advantages to the bridge besides the obvious safety issue we've already discussed? It would seem to cut down the time of construction.
Oh, the temporary bridge.
Yeah, the temporary bridge, I'm sorry.
Again, the access through the site during construction.
Right, safety, it's cleaner, you know, again,
So it's really just a safety
Safety's
issue.
probably the big one. It may save a little bit on the construction duration in terms of working with traffic, you know, right on top of you, because you're gonna be away from this, you're not gonna have that kind of traffic with construction going on
I've
adjacent.
worked with traffic and construction, so I know what you're talking
And
about.
it's safer for the
Yeah, it is safer. I've had tools
Safety.
knocked out of my hands by cars one time, but I know what you're talking about.
And I don't, and I
So
guess,
but you had said before that it wasn't going to cut down the duration of the construction project to have the bridge, so it sounds like it's really primarily a safety issue to have the bridge.
Well, I think part
The
of-
flow of traffic is working.
in terms of the overall construction, I think what'll happen, the way we're looking at it is installing the temporary bridge is gonna take a certain amount of time, and basically the installation of that bridge is gonna take up any minor time savings you're gonna see from limiting your deck work. So at
See,
the end of the
if
day,
the DOT can't take care of the roads they've got now, and their ditching and their side of the road work, they spend $1 million on the bridge to make it cleaner. I don't know.
and again, you
As a
know,
resident and a taxpayer, I get it.
and I do, I should make it clear, we're talking safety on the bridge, it's either scenario is safe, and either scenario we can maintain traffic. The temporary bridge does provide some advantages in
A
terms of
little more convenient.
letting the traffic flow, and there are, especially with this ramp, this is probably the biggest one is with the temporary bridges, is how that ramp functions.
Do you have a figure for incidents or accidents in construction sites on 93 that have taken place in the past, you know, an average?
I don't know. In your study, you had some.
We never studied.
Site, I don't think there was.
Yeah, we looked at accident data in this area, but today, you know, in the last 10 years, they're not construction related, but just what we're seeing for accidents out there right now.
People are careful in this construction area.
Yeah, and I think there wasn't significantly more or less than, you know, similar type stretches of
I agree with Joe, then bridges. There's about
$1 million.
So when do you have a decision made?
I would think we'll be making a decision over the next.
Pretty soon, because we're looking at, what, about a year for design.
Yeah.
So
So you expect
by
to start
August, I would
next June.
imagine, we hope to get something to do.
So Chief, you've been kind of quiet, safety-wise, you okay to
I kind of agree with the crossover model, which was, be relevant. Yeah, I mean, I've been through many of them. You know, I think we will find them.
Yeah, the lane widths are on the northbound bridge will be a little tighter than the southbound bridge, which is over 25 feet for two side-by-side lanes, and an 11-foot lane and a lot of 2-foot shoulders.
Kind of a stretch that you have to slow down anyway, just by the design of the road anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna, irregardless, this will get posted down and get slowing it down any more than that, you start to see some traffic backup issues.
Especially off the exit.
Right.
Exit 20 is pretty busy at certain times of the year.
Right.
This next week is an example, where we go from 3,600 to 36,000.
Right.
They get off at that exit. So during those peak times that you know this is going to happen, is there plans to clean out the equipment, or you just keep right on trucking and chips fall where they may?
Well, I mean, the DOT has certain policies about day before holidays and certain stuff like that. So that
There'll be no ongoing work.
Right.
Yeah. During those high peak, unusual times.
Right.
Yeah, and I think
the lane.
Yeah.
You'd have the lanes set up.
Labor Day.
You know, basically the construction of the crossover will happen in the spring when your traffic volumes are the lowest. I think March, April is the best time around here. So you would have your detour, for Bike Week or for July 4th, as you go into the summer. This will be set up. So you would have a scenario where you'd have that one lane that can get off. You've got to get the split.
There are several times a year as well that we have large races at the International Auto
That came up where they get on.
It's 5,000 cars onto that exit right there.
Part of that, yeah.
In a couple of hours, just as tight as they can get on there.
We were surprised that the mainline traffic actually doesn't change that much on the race weekend.
That's because they come piecemeal and don't let out at once.
Right, yeah, it's killing you here.
Yeah.
But I think people probably stay off, people that are just going on 93 probably stay away.
That Route 140 intersection, just down the way, it's north.
Oh,
Where
right,
you
yeah.
are, yeah.
Well, you can see it on that map
It's
there.
crazy.
Right there at that, right there at that intersection.
The one on the right, the intersection on the right, all that traffic comes
No,
down.
that's
right
right
there.
there.
Yeah.
It all comes down from that road down here, 140, and they're all trying to get on that, either that exit or the other one to go south.
Yeah, over the bridge and stuff,
A major artery during those times.
I have to say, our roads up here are a hell of a lot better than 84 and 91 from Florida. As I came up this spring, and then especially in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania's got problems.
Yeah, in that stretch there where you're running the side of the mountain there, there's construction everywhere, and I'm surprised with a small motorhome that we didn't sideswipe half of the cars on either side. It was so narrow. So we've got a whole lot better setup to start with to work with. We ended up hitting some barrels on one side because there was a trailer truck touching my mirror, and I hit barrels over here. There was no Jersey barriers. That was it.
So you said something about funding. Is there a potential for the funds to fall through here? And all of this is an exercise in pretty pictures and easels and whatnot?
When days finish, Bob is going to...
Well, I don't have a lot to say, but I don't believe that's the case. It's currently in the 10-year plan, and it is funded as far as, I guess I did it schedule on that is...
We're promised federal dollars every year that I think we can get them.
And state dollars that like, sorry to make it bad luck.
It is scheduled to advertise in December 2015. So construction will be starting in spring of 2016, 2 seasons, we finish in the fall of 2017. Now, these guys are working to get plans prepared, I think, for August of 2014, for the opposite reason, if we were to get some money sooner, it could potentially go sooner.
And that's what happened with this project. This project was scheduled, the scour kind of movies, that was scheduled, I think, for 2017 and 2018. And because one of the tie-ups with either one of the bridges in Portsmouth, all of a sudden, we had all this money. And it was rush to get that out. So if we get the plans completed and they're ready to go, there's nothing better than that to get the money.
I have a question with regards to safety. I walked under that bridge, I've seen fallen concrete and exposed rebar, or whatever you guys call it, on a bridge. And I'm wondering about the safety aspects of waiting 2 years to put any concrete on there or shoring or anything, is that a safety? Is this bridge gonna fall in the river in the next 3 years? Can you tell me it's not?
We have inspectors that go out annually and look at the bridge.
Actually, the bridges, because it's on the red list, and it's a state-owned bridge, it gets inspected every 6 months. I suppose, I think it's worth mentioning, obviously, to our bridge maintenance folks, to have them, somebody go out and look at the overheight area where the trail is.
It's just gonna
And make sure there's nothing loose that's gonna potentially fall off.
There's been 3 occasions where we're picked up and
I've seen where I picked up concrete block.
fallen off from the bottom.
Right.
And somebody could get clocked with that stuff. So is there a possibility of getting like a netting in that section to prevent if it did fall? Oh yeah, it looks great. And in 2 months, it lands on somebody's head and kills them dead.
No, I
Would
think
be
so.
bad.
Then the price of a temporary bridge would be peanuts.
So I'm just looking at
So
from
we talk
some netting and the
maintenance
concrete.
No, I will do that. I'll mention the bridge maintenance, the concern. I mean, I was concerned walking over there looking up. And they can go out, I mean, if there's anything loose, they can move it. And
Chip
they-
it off?
And they could make the decision on whether they think there needs to be shielding on them.
So what do you need from the public here? You're just listening?
Yeah, I'm just listening. Also want to mention that most of these plans will be made available on the DOT website. So, a few days from now, you should be able to go on and look at any of these plans. Certainly, if you have any comments after the meeting, we'll leave business cards. You can get in touch with, me, Joe, or Bob, Andrew.
One other
Don't
thing.
spend the money on the bridge.
One other thing to make note of that we ran into when we were under construction on the bridge. If you go right in front of that plan again, you see where McDonald's is? That's McDonald's. Big parking lot right there.
Yeah.
That is not yours, that's theirs.
That's there.
The one that's being paved right now?
Yeah, that used to be state-owned property.
parking ride.
It's not. It used to be, but McDonald's bought it.
Used as such.
So
That's why it's
McDonald's,
getting paved.
McDonald's is paving
They got
it.
the money, yeah.
But you're going to want to talk with them way ahead of time. We got to get special easements during construction. So when you're looking for a staging area for equipment and materials, that's probably not going to be it.
And
Unless-
same with Super 8.
Yeah.
We had to get permission from them.
Although Super 8 is very cooperative and very friendly.
They have a small parking lot though, really.
Yeah.
That big lot where that shows where it's open, that's where tractor trailer trucks park.
So
Yeah.
if you contact the franchise owner who's down in Manchester, you may be able to get an easement. But you need to talk with him way ahead.
Yeah, but he was more accommodating than willing.
Now, that paved area, they paved it for the intention for the trucks stay there or park?
They have cars parked there all the time because people come and eat at McDonald's and park there and do whatever. But they have signs on it saying McDonald's parking only, but then they seem to be fairly forgiving when big trucks come and park there for long periods of time,
Right, and we had to
3-4 days at a time.
do a change order to put in huge boulders because these trucks would back right up onto the
Onto the
trail.
trail.
We saw the boulders you had, and there was a trailer truck that can park.
Yeah, that's where they park them.
The parking ride is down, further east down by Home Depot, by the trees,
Oh, so they moved it.
Yeah, it's way up to the right.
You gotta go way
Way up to the right, yeah.
It's up by Home Depot, past Home Depot on the right.
Another half mile up the road.
It's down in the swamp.
Yeah.
Right next to the steel pit.
When we were, constructing the trail, when we were out there, I couldn't believe it. Over the years, trees had grown up in the state's railroad right away. which nobody objected to because the two different establishments didn't really want to see each other. And so we had to go tell them that, I'm sorry, but, these are not supposed to be here, and we're going to have to remove them because the trail's going to be here.
It was whining?
Well, no, I put on my Catherine Dawson hat. I was there. I said, I'm sorry. I'm going to replace these screens. He was not happy.
Because look, there's a bird here.
So we make sure that we tell people this is not a trailhead. Do not park here.
Of course, that's where the trail ends right now, huh?
Right.
Yeah, there's gonna be some fun.
The other option is just up the road by 132, J. Jill, the old sand and gravel.
Right across on Pecan.
You can see them by where Walgreens is.
See that big pond right there?
Yeah, that's J. Jill's.
J. Jill's is right.
Or down Route 140 a little bit beyond the Energy Depot. There's now several vacant properties right on Route 140. You wouldn't have to cross the big intersection. Might be staging areas.
So people always forget within 2 years of when projects complete. They forget what it was. It was a 2-year.
The McDonald's guy might be real easy, but make it a staging area. He knows that the bridges have to be fixed. He's not going to get anybody off the highway to frequently business. That would change it around. That's a significant source of his
You
business.
get the construction guys for lunch.
And you get the construction guys for
They're
lunch.
open 24 hours.
There you go. So you would put lights on, lunch and dinner.
Yeah, any chances of doing this construction at night?
Doing construction at night?
The only thing you'd be doing might be paving.
Yeah, you might do your final overlay.
Or you concrete and board.
Less traffic.
But you're gonna have your,
Just
everything's
thinking.
gonna be separated, so.
See some places they work at night.
Yeah, maybe some of the stuff outside of the detour. But, they're gonna overlay.
That's more expensive too, no doubt.
Temporary lighting.
Might as well build a bridge.
There was a sign sheet.
Yeah.
Did that make its way around to everyone?
I got it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input.
Thank you.
Rich, we met Charlie at the trail.
Charlie's on the committee.
He said he was going to long-term possibility.
Yes, yeah, we just had the art department up here at Forum High School. Had some people that had visited the Wild Trail down in some of the kids in the high school got together with an art teacher and a couple of the artists in town. Big old warehouse type buildings back up against the trail. And they got approval to paint the wall blank gray and then paint murals on them. They're really nice. So the art classes up here got the idea to do it on the bridge abutments. So we were going to talk with Bill and the piers, see if we could get permission, but I'm not, I think we would wait till after you're done with this at this point, but it's a big blank thing now that people graffiti. We're constantly painting over the graffiti. But what they found in the Wild Trail is once you get a nice mural up, the kids don't touch it with graffiti. Well, there's a little bit of honor amongst the kids. If the kids in town that are 17 that do the graffiti know that their 13-year-old brothers and sisters painted the mural, they're not going to go graffiti over it. That's what that's really all about.
Just wanted to touch base. Is this the wall you were talking about with your archaeological survey?
down over here.
Oh, and that's.
See where that fence is?
Yep.
Just on the other side of that fence, going down between the piers and on the downstream end, below the second set of piers. They did, there used to be a pile of stuff right there. That was about 3 feet higher than the level it was there.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
And they insisted that that pile might contain something. And we had guys down there from the River Basin Authority who were in their 70s, at this point retired, that we got to come and testify. That they remember digging that stuff out of the trench and piling it there, and it just never got removed, and they wouldn't find anything in it except rocks. And sure enough, all they found that it was rocks. But that whole stretch, because of how close the railroad bed is to the river, and because the pipe is on the river side of the railroad, was all disturbed in the 60s. And if we've got the as-built, but River Basin Authority has them, and the railroad has them. If you look at those as-built, you'll see that the large majority of it was dug up. And we know that all of it was piled up to make the playing fields behind the middle school and high school arts. So we didn't find any evidence of anything. The only thing we ever saw was way further down than you'd be worried about, where it's much wider between the tracks and the river. It's an area where we did do a test pit. We didn't find anything in our test pit, but out in the river there's a fish weir, unmistakable at low water as a Native American fish weir. Huge rocks that were moved around that you can just look at it and you know right away what it was. You could go out there and put net in it. People fish a lot down in there too. You'll see when you're down there any day almost, early in the day or late in the day, you'll see people fishing right under the bridge. Because they can be in the shade, don't get as wet under the bridge, sit right there and fish.
Not just the archaeology of
You drive your car in the garage,
Well, that's tough. Well, good, you did
Got
very nice.
3 different cards. So I'm the director of the health center, and the managing director of the Public Health Network, and I'm the volunteer president of the Trail Committee.
busy guy.
Well, the Trail Committee is kind of an extension of the work we do with health and public health. In the health center, we treat a lot of people who have diabetes and cardiovascular,
sticking my face in front of it like you're
obesity issues, and actually write prescriptions. Go get exercise. And in the caring community